Sitting in a 4v3.
Everfrog Esports trying to find an angle they can, trying to find somebody out of position.
We're gonna go through on this. Oh, what a wall. We're gonna take black. White gonna go in.
It's going to be a really, really interesting one.
Oh my god. all of this competition could be so damn close, so I cannot wait for us to finally decide who's going to be the champion. We are expecting some chaos, some great moments.
A beast mode has killed 3. Only gonna really need that rampage, so it's gonna clear it out. Santi gonna get themselves a big old 4K. Oh. Santi's getting rid of 3, clearing out the house.
That is crazy.
Nunji actually kills 3 people.
This team feels entirely different on this faster composition. Now Saga is hanging around, getting onto the high ground. Post bomb's gonna stick under Leaky. They're not gonna be able to survive it at the end of the day. Blue manages to find a 3K.
Rio shoving this Ana into a corner. Woo! One more for the road for Rio. That is all signs go. Melophobia with 3 Melophobia. Start the fight. They'll end the fight. Oh my god. Beagle Bus, they have to play aggressively into this energy. Popping off in a moment where you needed just that. Ruby in that backline. Oh, the flick. Looking for it. Oh my goodness. The 4th one as well. Do they get the ace? They get the ace.
And welcome back, everybody. It is a wonderful, wonderful night in CGL, and we have the final grand finals match to broadcast for you guys tonight. It is the Diamond Division is NA. It's sort of skilled versus Shoebill Nation. I did Grandmasters.
It's NA Masters. You said Diamond.
Oh, I did say Diamond! Like, we were just talking about Diamond. It is the NA Masters tier. Here, we already did Grand. We could look up that later. But yes, I'm on with the wonderful Ray here. And yes, we are doing Masters NA, finishing out this wonderful Grand Finals. Finishing out this wonderful season. I can't lie. I can't believe it's come to a heat here.
Yeah, I can't believe we've already reached the end. It's been a long one, but folks, this is the penultimate final grand final. We got sort of skilled going up against Shoebill Nation. But before we get into that, going to want to go ahead and talk to you about a great event that is happening starting this weekend. It is the Copa America tournament, which is basically a World Cup, but for South America. We got Peru, Brazil, Chile, and Argentina competing. It's going to be multicast in 3 different languages. There'll be an English broadcast, a Brazilian/Portuguese broadcast, and a Spanish broadcast, all starting on May 16th. So make sure you tune in to see the best that South America has to offer, as it's being hosted by Senju, and the production is being done by our own XYBA Productions.
Yes, come tune in for Copa America. It's gonna be a fun time. And if you miss CGL action, you miss some XYBA action, guys, Copa America is exactly where you guys need to be in 3 days. 3 days, right? Oh my goodness, I'm excited. I'll be there on Spanish broadcast, watching and seeing everything going on with our southern brethren. But otherwise, we're going back to the main event of the night. Well, not main event. There was 2 other grand finals that also happened today. That was very, very fun to watch. I believe we have the EU today. We also had NA as well. And of course, this to finish things out Master Division wise. Here's the schedule as a refresher. FC taking it 4-2 over 0907. Then we had Dilla Ducks in a 4-0 perfect victory against YU Snowfall. And of course, your match today with the Masters Division. And of course, a recap of how exactly did we get to this grand finals. Have these guys fought before? Well, when we go to the bracket, I mean, the answer is actually no. This is their first time fighting in the playoff bracket, which is really cool to see.
Yeah, it's going to make things that much more interesting. That, you know, the fact that playoffs have been almost like a month now and they haven't faced each other in that long. So they're going to be familiar with each other because they're from the same division, but not a lot of recent matches to know how things are going to play out and what compositions each team has been working on.
Exactly. And we've been seeing how different the competitions have been in the past couple of matches, past couple of weeks, past month, if you will. Everything from Arisa to compositions with a Bap Lucio with Reinhardt. We've seen Ryan, we've seen Ram, we've seen Mauga come back for some reason. We've seen the Soldier, we've seen Genji, we've seen everything under the sun, Ray, and everything works out beautifully, especially when we're starting off on a map like Ilios.
Oh, Ilios is going to be a fun, interesting map just because it's so well known for being a dive-centric map. It feels like a lot of these series have always been starting on Lijiang Tower, which is so brawl-heavy. This time to come into a map where we're going to be running a lot of dive, I am excited. And
Yes,
just to just to inform you guys a little bit, I was doing a little research behind the scenes, and they have only faced each other once this season, and it was week number 1.
Yo!
We're sort of skilled 1-3-0, so it's been a long time.
Wow, that's like 2 whole metas.
More than 2, that's like 3.
I feel like we've gone through so many. That's crazy. The fact that that's kind of beautiful, where they were the first match together week 1, and here they are all the way from mid-season to finishing off regular season and into the playoff bracket, into grand finals. They've made it back here to see each other like, you know, star-crossed lovers. Now, Sora skilled, like you said, it's dive-heavy kind of map type we have here with Ilios and its sub-levels. So what could we possibly be seeing as bans? Do you want to hinder the dive by going into like an Ana, or hindering with like a Pharah, which is a ban you mostly see on Lijiang? I don't mind it on Ilios though.
Yeah, this is going to be another map where skies can be controlled very heavily on all 3 of the sub-maps of Ilios. So it's not surprising we have seen Shoebill Nation in the past running that Pharah. So the big question is, where does Shoebill look to go to respond? I mean, this was the map pick of Sort of Skilled since they've been waiting in the grand finals. So obviously they want to play dive. So as you mentioned, are they going to go look to attack like maybe an Ana or like a Brig or maybe a Winston, just to be like, no, we're at least not going to be having that kind of dive, to where, yes, you'll still be able to play some kind of a dive, but you're going to have to make some adjustments.
Ooh, and the prediction is going to be right. They are going to be taking out the Winston here. So we're not going to be seeing the beautiful Ana, Brig, and Winston that we typically see on like Well, for example, or on Lighthouse. But the Pharah and the Winston band, I'm pretty much a big fan of. And you know, I'm also a bigger fan of these teams here, right? Sort of skilled roster coming up right now. Our starting lineup is going to be absolutely beautiful. We have our people we've been seeing for literally the past, what, 2 months now, 3 months now. Hoxie Foxy, Dragonor 999, They Call Me M, Ligmatos, and Vito coming back here, or Viral, excuse me, coming back here for a Sort of Skilled roster.
I'm immediately, guys, I refuse to say that name. I'm just going to say Ligma from here on out. You already heard it from Mott, so we know their actual name. I will refuse to say that name. With that, let's go ahead and pull up their team. They're going against the Shoebill Nation, who's been kind of on a run in the lower bracket. Upsetting low ground main in the losers finals, we got Love Sane, Showy, Simple Math, Daydream, and Aubrey 0123.
Yep, and I just was casting these guys as losers finals match to get to this grand finals, and they gave me a show 1,000%. So I'm really happy to see these guys come back. And honestly, give me a show. Now, Simple Math, you can see, right? That's his favorite hero is Winston. So without Winston, you know, I want to see what exactly he might be going towards. I think we might be seeing like a Diva, maybe a Hazard come back, or we might just force Brawl, which people are very much okay with doing on maps that don't need Brawl.
So, one thing that's extremely interesting is, well, for one, this map ruins. Dive isn't necessarily like what you have to run. You can definitely run Brawl specifically on this map. The other 2 maps are where things will creep itself in a little bit. But with Winston off of the table, if we do play Dive, it's likely we're going to see Diva in the equation. But as it sits for the side of Sort of Skilled, they're taking the approach like I talked about, where, hey, this can be a Brawl map, especially with no Winston in the game. I think Brawl on this map is going to go really well, and they are going to play the Orisa version of the Brawl with the Kiri Lucia. As we take a look at Shoebill Nation, they are going, they're going balls to the wall, man. They are coming out on the Doom Fist dive, baby.
You love to see it in the Big 25. Literally almost the exact same comp, save for the Orisa versus the Doomfist. I feel like kind of a classic matchup there in that sense, lore-wise and in the game, right? So, Pitch to happening off of this right corner, and Dragonor gets a beautiful blink into a melee kill onto Shadowy, and now that they're down the Kiriko, down the Tracer, We have to see Shoebill Nation kind of back up until Lovesane gets a big pick of their own onto Ligma Toes. Now Dragon are also falling right after the fact, and somehow, some way, despite being down one in the very beginning, Shoebill Nation brings it right back. They force Sorcerer to back off, and they're gonna get this point ideally first.
Yeah, and the good thing for simple math, especially if you're the Doomfist, you basically need to ignore the Orisa. The Orisa can do too much to disrupt all your movement abilities if you're the Doomfist. So you want to get on top of targets like Hoxie Voxie, maybe going after Toes, which they did get early on, thanks to some help from Lovesane.
Again, another one of these Chaser 1v1s happening, but with the Lucio from Viral coming in to assist Dragnor in that regard. Now, the 20% ring on the objective here, we've lost 2 on the side of Shoebill Nation, that being our DPS and our tank. We do get our one-off against a Tracer, but a very quick cleanup is exactly what I love to see from Sort of Skilled. Yeah, we lose 1, but 29% to a newly found 2%, we can take that.
Yeah, when you're playing this Orisa composition, being able to go in with your Lucio very quickly and looking for these kills fast is kind of the name of the game, and they did that beautifully. And you kind of see the Doomfist, when the Orisa is played correctly, it is very difficult to run into. So Simple Math has to play these dives and this positioning perfect. There we go, Hoxie Voxie, target number 1 I talked about.
I'm saying, and you saw how beautiful that kill box was between Shadowy and Simple Math to get rid of Hoxie Voxie. Dragonor comes down right after the fact. Love saying she does go down here from Viral on the Lucio, but it might be a little bit too late, and we flip the point back over to Shoebill Nation. Now, the ult coming they have here, Ray. Oh, let's talk about it.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see the possibility for both teams with their combos here. Both teams will have Kitsune rushes, but Sort of Skilled, I like the idea of they call me to be able to use this Terra Surge with a lot of different combos. I mean, you did throw the Pulse Bomb in already, but you still got other stuff to combo with.
And the Pulse Bomb goes crazy onto Hoxie Voxie here, right? That's massive for the side of Shoebill Nation. In the front runner DPS, not going to be there. Aubrey, she has to get out almost immediately and doesn't. Like, oh my goodness, insane kunai shot. And then we go into with the Terror Search. It finds Daydream. She's not in the fight anymore. And suddenly Shoebill Nation, as Lovesane starts to try to come back, they're starting to slowly falter. Now we commit with the Meteor Strike. And we also commit with the Sound Barrier, so they're going to keep this fight ongoing, Ray. We overheat, we try to look at Simple Math, and I think he might go down here.
Yeah, it did force out the Kitsune rush, but I'm not a big fan of committing both your Sound Barrier and your Meteor Strike. I mean, you will be able to come into this next fight and you'll have a Kitsune rush because you got rid of theirs. You're going to have a big advantage there. So for the side of Sort of Skilled, Mott, it's going to rely heavy on Hoxie Voxie to get a lot with this overclock and to probably have to get aggressive with it and find an early pick.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be the battle of the overclass between Hoxie and Lovesane. The better Sojourn has to come out on top here, but they also have the benefit of that Kitsune Rush, which she's going to use here. Daydream's going to use immediately on the point itself, coupled with that overclock. I mean, look at all the space they just made for free here, right? And they call me M is being forced to recontest. With Hoxie Voxie getting OB pick onto Aubrey, however, that's going to be much easier done for one than said. So Math being so low, you can see up in the feed, so low, still finds one to Hoxie Voxie, is staying alive through the excursion while Lovesane is getting pelted down by this Orisa. We have a Sound Barrier on from Viral, and Calming M being the walking wall that, you know, they are. We get a lot of returning picks here for Sort of Skilled.
Again, that was just players making some big time plays. As we see Hoxie Moxie getting off of the Sojourn after finding a kill with the overclock, gonna go over to the Sombra. So they're really trying to disrupt everything Simple Math's trying to do. Those manual hacks can be a huge disruptor for a Doomfist.
It's gonna be a big problem. I mean, if you said Orisa into Doomfist into with the Sombra, but here comes the Terror Search with the Viral completed onto Lovesane, and that's just the world's cleanest fight just by using one ultimate. Now 81 to 99, it's gonna be a close, almost last fight here.
All right, here we go, Mott. We got battle of the pulse bombs between the two Tracers, so that's gonna be interesting to see who makes the big play here. But 20% ult advantage for Toes in this next fight to get this Kitsune rush. I think whoever gets that up and gets the value could win this.
I mean, the opening was there. The pulse bomb goes completely wide. Overtime has been activated here. I mean, Viro's trying their best to stay alive. The Susan's expended. The pulse bomb also goes onto the wall. We gotta touch the point. It's gonna be up to Shadowy to do so on the Tracer. We lost Daydream. Can we find at least a returning pick before St. Matt is forced to use the Meteor Strike? Unfortunately, Hoxie Fox on this Sombra, I have to say, very unexpected, but St. Matt from Doofus still finds 2 regardless with the help of Shadowy. Now it's just Arisa. Is it gonna be enough? Do we get the point? We touch the point. We do with Shadowy here.
Yeah, but with the picks coming in, all there's left is a straight Tracer who's already been forced to recall as Shadowy gets sent back to the spawn room. Sword is skilled, able to win a very close first point, 100-99.
And that was super intense, man. Like, they had, if they were able to find the Lucio, I'm pretty sure that we would have seen a Shoebill Nation point here on Ilios. But I mean, Viral's movement, Viral's speediness, oh, that was beautiful to watch. Bro was not dying today.
Now, the big question here, as we talked about for this first submap, that's where you were going to be able to see more of the brawl tanks like we saw with the Arisa. Now we come into these next 2 maps where it's going to be much more divey and there's no Winston to be able to be played. So I think the Hazard makes a lot of sense. Doomfist, you know, if you're going to play it on Ruins, definitely going to play it on this map. But, you know, don't be surprised if we see like Divas come out at some point.
I mean, on here especially, oh, love me a good Diva here. But like you said, the Hazard from Call Me M, it's gonna be really interesting to see, especially as the dive already starts. Daydream, she is able to get out of it, but we do lose Love Saint during the entire exchange here. And it's right in the nick of time. You find the pick onto some math. Hoxie Fox on the high ground, goes to the low ground, goes in for another 1 kill onto Aubrey. I mean, the background destroyer. No one else is going to be surviving here from Sword of Skilled, but even then, Shadowy can't get the Mega Pack in time, and Sword of Skilled are going to be able to take this first point, or, second point in their favor first and foremost.
As again, when you're playing the Hazard composition like this, you got to be able to use that lead to get in, find a pick quickly, and then use the wall however you want to trap someone, use it to block yourself to get out, but you don't have as much movement as, say, a Diva or a Winston, so it relies heavily on you being able to find the pick quickly and get out.
Ooh, love this movement, love the playstyle Tim is going for, but what I don't love is that we lost our Kiriko so early on. Daydream's Suzu, sometimes the TP was forced so early on, and then the follow-up from Dragonor was so good, and then a second one from Dragonor. I mean, this Tracer has to be kept in check, I feel like.
You're going to steal some ult percentage on the point, but, I mean, you're going to take that because that's going to be a good 13%. Essentially, you stole from them. So I think you'll take that if you're Shoebill Nation, considering you had lost that fight. But their ult charge has been slowly building that all they're going to have in this next fight is going to be this pulse bomb, and nothing else is even really close. So it's a lot on Shadowy's back to make something happen.
Absolutely. If not, to just keep Dragonor off of my back line. Just like that, the slide was forced so early from Love Saint from that high ground. And now, I mean, Love Saint, she's on this coastline. I have no Slusu either to help speed our Sojourn away. And this round 2, excuse me, is looking a lot less even than we had seen on Ruins.
Yeah, and the big problem, Mott, is they're winning these fights without committing any kind of ult. We do see the swap coming in from Shoebill Nation. I think the Doomfist, it's just not working out. And I like them coming to match the Hazard. I think it's going to give them much more needed sustain. And, you know, if they work together, these assassinations can come online pretty good.
Well, here comes the downpour, though. Forces the Sunbird to be expended from both sides here. So the fight has finally entered outside the neutral and into the meat and potatoes of what Overwatch fight is supposed to be here. Hoxie Voxie and Ligmatos both have their respective ultimates ready to be unleashed, whereas Shoebill Nation are barely coming up on their Casino Rush from Daydream. Ligmatos going for a lot of these 1v1s against Daydream here. But Viro, once again, I have to say, unsung hero in gaining a lot of these opening picks here. We flipped the point though, Ray. So will it be possible for Shoebill Nation to bring it back if we keep trading off? No, Suzu, I saw that. I've been there, Daydream. I've been there.
No Suzuma, and they had Kitsune Rush. Did not throw it down on the point. Maybe, you know, could have set up something, but Sort of Skilled takes point number 2 and map number 1, and this second point, not really that close.
Nah, it wasn't. And do you want to argue that maybe it was the Doomfist overstaying his welcome for too long? I feel like the Hazard really worked for what it's worth, for the last like 40% of Lighthouse. But I mean, I have to say, I mean, kudos to Hoxie, Voxy, and Viral. I feel like they were really the showstoppers of Lighthouse.
Yeah, they played extremely well. Hoxie Voxy had themselves quite a sub-map on Lighthouse. And then, you know, when it came down to this map of Ruins, I think They Call Me M was, you know, integral, as well as Dragon on the Tracer. So every player on this team already is having moments, and that's what you like to see when you're in a grand final situation like this. But Shoebill Nation is no stranger to being behind or needing to come back, so you can't afford to let up if you're sort of skilled. As great first start, but you got to keep it going.
Agreed. And thankfully, with a first of 4 series or best of 7, you have so many maps to make adjustments, so much time to adapt and change, and, you know, talk back with your coach between, like, there's so much time, you know. In a first of 3, it's a little more time than a first of 2, like, great, whatever. We have all the time in the world for this beautiful grand finals. I feel it. I feel like it's gonna go a pretty long way. I want to see if 6 maps. I think 6 maps is what we're gonna get tonight. And with the way these guys are playing, and if we make the right adjustments, make the right swaps, I mean, a little bit faster too, we have a work cut out for ourselves.
I think we are going to have a great series on our hands. But I think a lot of these maps we're going to have to see, but it could come down to just map pick. Like, clearly, I think we've seen sort of skilled seems to be better in those dive-oriented situations. I mean, even on Ruins, it was a brawl into, like, a Doomfist, which is not ideal at all. So I'd love to see, like, if we went to, like, say, a Suravasa or something where it's like you're going to play brawl on this map, how that will go for the side of Shoebill Nation. And again, I think we have seen the Thera thrive for Shoebill Nation in previous series. So I think that was a very well-placed ban coming into this map from sort of skilled. And again, that's a big issue. I mean, I was in the chat during those Diamond Grand Finals, like, what are these bans? Like, I think that was a big reason why the series went the way it was. So both these teams already showing they have an idea of how these bans should go. Like, I even think banning the Winston on a map like Ilios is a pretty smart decision. That's one of Winston's, I mean, the only other map that, you know, is better for Winston is probably Gibraltar.
Absolutely. Whenever I think of Winston, I think of either Ilios, specifically Lighthouse, but all 3 are fine for him. And then I think of Gibraltar, because that's just Winston's, like, he's so good at Gibraltar. It gives way to him, which, speaking of, when it comes to the map type, map pool, you know, we're going to next, we might have gotten our wish with wanting to go a little more broadly, forcing something a little bit more in line with Shoebill Nation's play style. We're going to Kings Row, baby. We're going to be seeing something real special here on the beautiful, beautiful streets of Kings Row.
Yeah, kind of talked about how most of our series has become El Clasico, where you go Lijiang for the first map. But this is El Clasico map number 2. You know, it's normally Lijiang, Kings Row, Suravasa is what we've been noticing recently for the first 3 maps. So back to familiar territory with a map like Kings Row. This is where, you know, I'm not sure if we're going to get into the Ramatras at all, or if Orisa ban is going to come through, but Orisa, Ramatra, maybe some Mauga. I think those are what we're going to be looking at for this next map. Mauga's always, I mean, not Mauga, Hazard's also always a fair shout. I think Nightmare in that run showed us, you know, it doesn't kind of really matter that you can still make Mauga work. Hazard work on this map. But it's all going to come down to what we get from these ban phases, as Shoebill Nation gets the first ban on this map.
It feels like you're manifesting a reemergence of Mauga here, Ray. I don't know. It
No,
sounds like you
don't
like
say that.
Mauga.
I hate Mauga. I hate Mauga. I would never, ever, in my worst nightmares, ever manifest another Mauga meta.
Oh, I cannot lie. As the judo in a lot of those Mauga comps, it was kind of fun if you had a Mauga who knew what he was doing. If you didn't have Mauga who was doing, it was a complete it was bad.
The
It was
only
just a
other
bad,
meta
bad.
worse than a Mauga meta is a Hog meta. So
Oh, no. Don't curse me on these days. We're going to the bans here. Again, like you mentioned, Shoebill Nation will be banning first. As they also get the map pick in their favor, they also get to have the privilege of the first ban here. And like you said, will we see a Ramatra? Will we see a ban on the Orisa Rhythm, seeing how well They Call Me M played the character over in Ruins on Ilios? But one of my personal favorite bans to do on Kings Row is to ban Mei, and make that first point way easier for you if you're attacking. Personally,
It's gonna be the big question. I mean, these teams definitely know each other. I know this Masters division has been very tight knit, and they watch each other's games. So I think they all know what they like to play. Shoebill Nation's going to ban the Kiri out immediately, which I mean, I don't think is the worst decision. To me, I will say it's less likely we see Orisa. I think with the Kiri ban, you're more likely to see like a Ram break Juno kind of situation. Or, you know, maybe a Lucio variant, but I think Ram works a little bit better with, say, like a Juno lineup that I think we're likely to see without Kiri.
yeah, and you know, Kiri Lucio. It comes down to, are you gonna play Kiri Lucio or Juno Break? If I feel like at the end of the day, some teams run the double speed, triple speed, where I say, because sometimes it's with JQ, Juno, and Lucio, which is so fragile, but it is so fast. You kind of explode before you realize what happened to you. But with the Kiri ban, we are gonna be seeing the Mei ban, which I'm a big fan of. It hinders a good amount of comps that work on Kings Row just because the way Kings Row is built. It feels like Kings Row was made around Maywall to an extent. So these two bans, I'm a pretty big fan of. I would have preferred maybe the Juno over the Kiri, maybe, or even a tank ban, but I think it's still solid.
I mean, to me, I mean, whether you ban Juno or Kiri, it's like the other one's going to be played. So I think both comps are going to work just fine on a map like Kings Row. So at that point, it's just personal choice. They're like, let's get Ligma off of that Kiri, who did pretty well in the last map. But, you know, seeing the Mei ban just gives me flashbacks because I do remember not sort of skilled, Shoebill Nation playing the Mei a lot on Kings Row. So I think sort of skilled has definitely been doing their homework, and no, this has been a pretty good utility for Shoebill Nation. Let's take that away like they did with the Farah previously.
Yeah, and like you said, and it clearly shows, these guys know each other. These guys, not only have they been playing in the same league for from regular season week 1 literally up until now in playoffs, you know, they know what each other wants to play. They have they just know, you know, from looking at all the different VODs, looking at different matches, looking at people's replay codes, I know get sent out everywhere. I have I know it does, you know, and they review, they scout, they know everything about one another. So from just the silhouettes, I'm seeing the Ana and the Juno so far for the defense side for sort of skilled. Actually, viral on the Zenyatta. Hold on, I'm seated and I'm listening. I love this. Shoebill Nation, however, running the Juno BAP in the backline, I love this, actually. I love how different the backlines are, and I also love that we are seeing the Ram come back and Shadowy now. Like, okay, I can go Pharah now. Pharah's unbanned. Watch this.
So the Ana Zen, it provides a lot of situations where you can hit big antis and big volleys and have a lot of damage with that Discord orb, but your backline is going to be seriously susceptible and squishy to any sort of a diver, anyone who can get on top of them, like a Tracer, for example. So you're going to have to play extremely careful and look to find picks very quickly before they have time to get on top of your backline.
Love saying just couldn't find a pick with the Widowmaker. She swaps over to the Soldier, matching Hoxie again, similar to what we saw on Ilios. Now, Dragonor, like you said, their job is just to look at this backline and freshen them out as much as possible. Daydream playing on the Ana. Oh, Dragonor just gets a pick onto Shadowy, who was trying to get a little bit of care on the low ground there. Wonderfully done. Good breakthrough from sort of skilled, and suddenly, just like that, everyone else starts to fall like dominoes, and Shoebill Nation's attack has been completely halted here.
And again, that's the name of the game for Sort of Skilled, is finding the picks fast before they can make the rotation up top like they were trying to do to go after the back line. So Sort of Skilled is playing to their win condition. We got to continue to see that as we see Shadowy, you know, getting a lot of pressure put on them. So you have to be very careful. You can't allow a Tracer just to take you down out of the skies like you did previously.
Yeah, I mean, no one else really should be able to put him in his place. So he should have all that free reign, like you said, in that airspace. However, this defense, again, is from Sort of Skill is so good. The angles that we're seeing from Hoxbox and from Viral are so good. But this big team up to They Call Me M and bigger anti-nade. I saw M's health bar go from like 300 to 100 so quickly, and then to 0 after the fact. I mean, Love saying being uncontested able to find the opening pick onto They Call Me M, and then gain the switcher on out of the way at the same time. That's beautiful from Shoebill Nation. Now they should be able to get this objective unlocked really early on.
Yeah, but again, Sword of Skilled is just doing the smart thing. You still got half of the time bank taken away, and you're going to be able to take a team fight here on the archways. So it's a really, really strong hold place for the defense, and they're coming up on a lot of ultimates for this next fight. The one I'm specifically looking at is this downpour. Shadowy's got to be very careful. You're going to get dragged to the ground, and you're dead if that happens.
Yeah, no Suzu, no anything, no defensive cooldowns from Shoebill Nation. We are seeing that downpour, like you said earlier. It calls out Love Saying, and Shadowy does find his one onto Dragonor at the exact same time. But, oh, the seek would have been crazy there. Like, I see the vision, but unfortunately it doesn't hit here. We have the Nano online as well for her, so she's able to find this this opportunity to continue on with this Nano into the nade that hit the wall. This should be a good defense hold again for Sword of Skilled. Forces the Trank out as well, interestingly enough.
Yeah, that's not ideal, having to throw both your support ultimates into that fight, especially when you're facing down an Orbital Ray in the next fight. But you're able to keep everyone up and going. We're going to have to see what Hoxie Voxie can get done with just an overclock. But so many ultimates are mounting for Shoebill Nation. They should be able to win this fight relatively easily, but if they want to be able to get the second point with a good amount of time still on the clock, they got to be able to win this next fight with no more than 2 ultimates committed.
You're right. Liquid has to back up almost immediately. You can see her brethren here, Viral, so low, and thankfully gets refreshed here on the health side of things. But this card is already halfway through objective B here, Ray. I mean, this Ramatra is going in, knowing that I can do whatever I want with the Annihilation in the back pocket with the armor regen. Finds not just Viral, excuse me, but Lovesin also gets a pick onto They Call Me M. Can the rest of Sword of Skilled bring it back without the main front of their team? It looks like not, even with the overclock being expended there.
But you kind of held your win condition, as I talked about. All they used was the overclock and that annihilation for the next fight. You might be able to get a touch if you're the side of Sword of Skill, but I mean, which I would try, because you want to force out some of these ultimates. Even if you end up losing, you don't want them to continue to snowball third point.
And they will be able to get a touch here from Call Me M's Slice and Dice, but the Orbital Ray with the barrage accompanying it is a pretty much a easy team fight win here, and extra minute and a half in this time bank. I feel this King's Row push has been so quick here.
However, you did get them to force out both of those ultimates, so now when you come back this next fight, you're going to have 3 of your own. You should be able to hold them pretty easily on this corner. So I think, despite losing the point, you're able to drag out a lot from the side of Shoebill Nation.
Especially because Shadow is on this high ground, controlling it beautifully. Gets forced out by Dragonor on the Tracer here, who's going all the way around, trying to find something a little bit sneaky. So he gets expended here, and there's 2. Both DPSs of Shoebill Nation going down for the count. Downpour from Call Me M also being expended to secure the win on the fight. And just like that, just like how you predicted, right, they were going to win that out with just a downpour.
Yeah, and that's huge to be able to hold on to your support ultimates and build up to the pulse bomb in the meantime. Again, Shoebill Nation still trying to get their ult economy reset after having to spend a lot just to get second point. 2.5 minutes left on counting. They will have a Nano to work with here. Shadowy, who's now on the Genji, goes extremely low. Same with Love Saying.
Yeah, but thankfully both of them gets healed up so quickly from both Aubrey and Deja. Now Nano from the opposing side here, defense side from Ligma, gonna be utilized on Call Me M, and M is going straight in onto Love Saying. That's big power gone from Sword of Skill, now relying on just the Tracer. I'm sorry, not just the Tracer, on the Genji of Shadowy. Sword of Skill to recoup on the second corner, and they're about to have another fight in 2 seconds.
Yeah, and now they're gonna have the stranglehold on the ultimates, but this viral trans can outlast a lot of what's coming in, so you gotta make sure you use 1 or 2 ults to force it out, and then use another ult once you've forced it out. As we're gonna see the Nano coming onto Simple Math. Oh,
the Nano gets used, and the double Nano from the Strike perk that the Adrian does have equipped, but we try to look at Viral, and Viral says, no, I have Tranquility, I am transcending, and we're gonna keep this fight going up in favor of Sword of Skill here. The defense has been unpenetrable for the last 2 minutes. Can they hold for another minute and a half?
The big question to me for Shoebill Nation is you got to go quickly. Once again, getting close to this nano and the downpour for the side of Sword of Skilled. So while you have this advantage, especially with the Annihilation Orbital Ray, you have to go quickly before some of these ultimates get built up.
And hopefully they do. I mean, both of the soldiers do have their overclocks, but one side doesn't have a support. That being Aubrey, that being the whole team actually, right? Minute left here, or less than even, and they're gonna stagger out this Ramattra for a couple more seconds, so Silverman doesn't get the same Rave respawn as Daydream here. That's really hard for the Shoebill Nation.
Not only hard, but devastating, Mod. Sword of Skilled wins that fight. No ults. Now they have 4 to compete with the 4 ults that Shoebill Nation's going to have. That last fight could not have gone worse. This is their last opportunity to finish this point. They gotta make something happen.
They're gonna go really aggressive with this speed ring already being pinned on the corner here. Sword of Skilled opted to go play around the back line, and Shadowy finds the first pick onto Viral. Calming M goes down right after the fact. Double overclocks, but Hoxie Boxy does get the last half here onto the back line. But then the rest of the Shoebill Nation kind of just fall forward and roll over the fence. 5 seconds. We're gonna be going to overtime. We have Dragon Blade. We have 3 ults, and SOS has 0. There's no way they mess up this fight up. They lose Love Sane. However, Ray, because still something crazy happens. Even, completely even right now. The point. Oh my goodness. Oh.
It's a 2-for-2 trade. Shadowy comes through with that massive blade, and it doesn't seem like there are any touchers. And just in the nick of time, in overtime, Shoebill Nation able to complete all 3 points on King's Row.
Beautiful. Absolute cinema. I mean, like I said, there's no way they can fumble this. They had like 4 ultimates. Oh my goodness. Yes, I need an instant replay of this entire attack phase. It was so rough in the beginning, and then boom, Shoebill Nation just brought it straight back on that 3rd point, and throughout a second, it was relatively swift, I have to say.
It also felt like the opening of that final fight for Sword of Skill just could not have gone worse. Because like I said, we were in a 4-for-4 situation, and they burned every single ult and didn't even win the fight. So I think they were trying to be like, all right, let's all press Q here and try and win. And it just didn't happen. Shoebill Nation was able to outlast, and then it put them in such a bad spot for the re-engage, and then Shadow was just able to clean up with that blade.
I had to say, yeah, again, it basically put it beautifully there. And I mean, Call Me M was kind of just put in a bad spot. Had to be the one to touch cart. Had to be the forefront, soaking in the damage of the overclock, for example. Now we can see, I love this screen, by the way. I'm so glad Overwatch added the ability to actually see people's statistics, and also gives a little bit of an insight into exactly where we're going to be swapping to immediately for sort of skills attack phase. I see that Winston already here, and Winston on attack is quite interesting.
I actually have no problem with it on a map like King's Row. It's a very versatile map, so I think you're going to be able to get things working pretty well. And if you can take advantage of nades plus a Discord, because you don't have a Kiri to cleanse anything, I think this composition could be deadly. Again, you just have to be continuously watching your backline, especially Shoebill Nation has gone over to the Brig Juno, and the Brig's already been found.
Brig's been found, though. Juno helped save her, and I mean, Daydream might be going right after the fact. He does find the mini pack in the Autograph Hotel, but is it going to be enough without your Brig, without Daydream playing comfortably with such a low HP pool, and with also Dragonor forcing this high ground and kind of scaring Shadowy off? Oh, I mean, the blinks into the melee are so clean every time. 1 tick's already on the board here, and they need to recontest as a group before they slip out and actually, you know, lose out on so much time. And Sword of Skill realized we got back up and reconvene a dive.
And they didn't get that second tick yet, so it's going to tick back down, but they can just clean up the fight. They'll get those Love Saint going down early.
I mean, the nade, you saw the nade, that was beautiful. Aubrey just goes right down after the fact, and this is the dive I was looking for to see on Ilios without ideally Winston being banned. Sword of Skill, I mean, you called it. They are comfortable on this dive, and they're going to play the dive.
Yeah, Toe's coming through with a big nade to set everything up. That's how this composition is going to thrive, is being able to get some big purples, allowing They Call Me M to be able to get quick and easy picks. And just look at this. Both the DPS who have been just free to do whatever they want, both going to have their ultimates this next fight. But look at the spawns. They're so far back. I think they might have to give up this archway and take the first fight at the bookstore corner, which isn't ideal, but the bookstore corner is still a very strong defensive position to be able to hold.
And all they have is Viral really healing right now. I mean, you have her on the objective, so they can't play super crazy, but Dragon already has a pulse bomb. Like you said, DPS are gonna have their ultimates almost immediately. And look at that, you saw how beautiful, how tight that angle was for Hoxie Voxy. Unfortunately, Call Me M gonna be the first one to go down this engagement, but like you said, they're gonna be able to push right through this archway, one of the hardest chokes to push through in King's Row, and reconvene back with Call Me M.
And again, while Sword of Scaled has the advantage in the ults right now, I feel like they should get aggressive, especially because Daydream is 10% away from the orbital array. You should be able to use these ults to win the fight before that gets online.
Oh, and they will with his nano onto the Winston here. Call Me M wreaking havoc in this back line. Whereas Simple Math is in the front trying to get this card. Does find a pick onto Dragon Noir. And if we can find the pick onto Tracer here, even better for Hoxie Voxy. Now, again, we are not looking at Simple Math here. So for free, he does get 2 for his efforts, but not for very long. Big Anthony, even better rail shot charge into the wall, and no M though. So again, we try again.
Yeah, they're still going to look to reconvene, and we already see a swap off of the Winston over to the Hazard, which I think once you got first point unlocked, once we get to the Streets phase, the Hazard's going to be a little bit better. Still plenty for Shoebill Nation to work with, but if you have a well-placed Transcendence during this fight, during some of these big ultimates, it can nullify a lot of it. So once again, Shoebill needs to be patient, use certain ults to drag out that Transcendence.
Ooh, here's the orbital ray though. Double support ultimate being used by Shoebill Nation in conjunction with just Viral using the Transcendence. Unfortunately, it's not going to be enough to survive this fight, ideally, because yeah, there's an orbital ray and a rally in my face. But we've called it out before, Ray. That's not an ideal situation for Shoebill Nation.
And we're starting to see the squishiness of this backline between the Ana and the Zen getting taken advantage of by Simple Math on this Hazard. So if you're sort of skilled, the positioning for these supports are going to be extremely important if you want to continue to play this composition. And again, they don't have any ults to work with either. Shoebill Nation's going to have 3. I think Sword of Skilled's in a very precarious position right now.
Yeah, this attack from them is gonna be a little bit rough. Pulse Bomb does go crazy onto Viral, who is stuck between a rock and a wall and a hard place and a Pulse Bomb. But the reversal comes the same way to Aubrey. Will they push with this? We go for the nade, and we find a nade onto Shadowy, who is just trying to get out. Suddenly,
and that seems really unlucky.
Either lucky or unlucky, however you want to look at it.
Well, literally, I think they were trying to get the Hazard on their way out, and the Tracer just happened to get caught in the crossfire. So very unfortunate for Shadowy, excuse me.
No, you're absolutely right. Well, here's a nade. I mean, the nano, excuse me. And I mean, this is going to be very devastating, especially for Ligmatos, who is in the middle of that downpour. Do we find the pick onto the map, though? Unfortunately, Hoxie Voxy on the Cassie trying to match Love Saint here. Just can't find what we're looking for, and that's gonna be another hard stop in Sort of Skilled's path here.
Simple Math got extremely low, and they were not able to finish it off. A minute and a half just under that for Sort of Skilled to work with, but they're gonna have the one big ultimate coming in this next fight, which will be that downpour where they call me M, which should be enough for them to be able to finish off this point. They just got to execute the play.
Oh, don't look behind you guys. There's Love Saint coming on that high ground. Both Tracers kind of duking it out around the fish and chips area. Beautiful. They had to find a way to go in here. I feel like they're just struggling to enter this phase without, you know, losing one of their very volatile supports here. Call Me M getting healed up by Ligmatos, but Ligmatos now being looked at by Shadow. We couldn't find him in time, and we're still finding picks despite losing our Ana. We're still finding the fight happen in favor of Sort of Skilled, and it kind of worked out that way for them.
You are going to get bad spawns for the side of Sort of Skilled, as it's not going to matter a whole lot because you're going to get the point. But it's going to take a minute before you can get truly aggressive on this next point because you're going to have some of those stragglers, but they will have the ults to work with. But again, just how powerful the Juno ultimate is. That's why I like the support line a little bit better than this Ana and Sen. Lots of damage potential and pick potential, but the orbital array is just so good right now.
And it has been since her release, which is so crazy to think about. Another Pulse Bomb online for Dragonor, and if we they give the same value that we saw Shadowy get previously with his own post bomb earlier. I think this fight should go beautifully for Sword of Skilled. Up until we let the orbital ray go through, is a high noon also being extended at the same time in reversal to the orbital ray. Finds Love saying there's a rally versus a transcendence. Who's gonna come out on top here? Is the aggressive of Sword of Skilled that I really like to see, especially as Shadow is a little bit too late to come into the party, and my hazard's walled off by a Haz wall, and everyone just falls right on over with just less than a minute to go.
Yeah, but because of everyone dying at the same time, you're going to be able to get a halfway decent contest. That's why you're having these players push up so far to try and limit their ability to touch. The Tracer will get the touch Shadowy, but they go down.
Go down so quickly. It is a high noon on the right side. The field here gets pushed all the way in, and Love says she can't find anybody. 30 seconds left, and they're going to cap it all the way to third and get an extra minute on both sides here. But the extra 32 seconds, Ray, might be killer.
It's really going to depend to me on how well this attack goes for the side of Shoebill Nation. I feel like if you cap the point, I don't think the 30 seconds is going to matter that much. Because with a minute versus a minute 30 seconds, I mean, I assume you cap the point and you maybe get to the archway here, which is essentially where I'd expect you to get with a minute and a half. But if they don't cap the point, that 30 seconds could matter a lot, because the 30 seconds will buy them an extra fight and an opportunity to get maybe that extra tick on the point they need to seal the deal.
Agreed. I mean, I've seen it happen multiple times, but I mean, grand finals, the last grand finals of CGL S15, and we're going to an overtime round 3 and round 4. Would not on King's Row on King's Row would not have it any other way. Now the real question is, will Sword of Skilled stick with this Ana Zen backline? Viral's already hovering over the Lucio, so part of me makes me think that's not gonna happen. Don't look now, Ray. Your favorite tank is about to make a reemergence.
We don't see it yet. We don't see it yet, all right?
You don't see it. It's not real yet. Oh,
no.
Oh, no. This is the comp.
I will say defensively here, Lucio, Ana, I do not like those two. They do not mesh that well together, in my opinion. Maybe hit some big nades. Maybe you can make something happen, but just on face value, I hate Lucio, Ana comps.
As an Ana player myself, not a big fan of them either. It takes a lot of coordination to even make it work, and the headache of it all, is it worth it? Well, Ligma and Viral think so at the very least, and Love saying being poked out the left side here. Gonna be looking at this high ground, but I mean, again, looking at the left side does not look at the actual threat of Call Me M. And now Shadowy is in a little bit of a precarious spot. Viral on the Lucio called out by the stomp of Simple Math, and that's, wait, 1 tick already gone. We have 2 ticks gone. Hashimata gets Daydream, but we're gonna lose the objective here.
No, they're gonna be able to touch just in time. They do get Dragon, which is gonna force They Call Me M to touch.
We have Hashimata kind of on this high ground, uncontested, which is also massive, but Call Me M, no deflect, no block, and no point. They're gonna have 4 points at least here, and this car is gonna go right towards the archway, just like you mentioned.
Yeah, because of the overtime spawns and how far away they are as well, they will clear the archway here, which is actually a huge deal. We do see They Call Me M going over to the Orisa now, which I think is going to match up a lot better into the Malgaze. It looks like, okay, I wasn't sure. I thought Simple Math might be swapping, but they are just going to stick it for now.
And we also have Viral back on the Zenyatta, so that damage output onto Malga, I don't hate it. And then Anthony on top of that, he should ideally explode, I think is what they're looking for. This fight has now gone in favor of Shoebill, tipping the scales a little bit, getting Dragonair out of here. Nate goes crazy. We have a Nano ready. We're gonna be using it onto the Orisa. Call Me M comes right back into the fight, but we're not looking at this barrage or this Bob, who should be able to finish things out beautifully for Sword of Skills. But I would say Bob gonna be called out and shut down by Simple Math. This is looking very, very sour for Sword of Skills.
Oh yeah, this is absolutely worst case scenario. I think you get one more opportunity to touch and try and stop this cart from getting second point if you're Sword of Skill, but you don't really have that much to work with. Dragon will be able to build to this pulse bomb in time, but you're relying heavily on that, especially with a rally just around the corner, and it looks like they're just going to give up second point.
They're gonna give it up and hope we go to around 4, 5, and 6, right? It might happen. These guys need it. They need it. But I need Sword of Skill to stop the cart right here, right now. Shoebill Nation, they're gonna have this cage and overclock though. They're not gonna have Pharah. They're not gonna have Shadowy, which is absolutely massive. However, they get a trade-off for Dragonor. Now we have the rally coming in from Aubrey. She's trying to keep this push alive. She's trying to force this corner to be overtaken by Shoebill Nation, and she's trying to get a pick onto Hoxie Foxy with the shield bash to boot. Now, Viral has his Transcendence ready, so that's 8 seconds invulnerability in tandem with this Orbital Ray coming in from Daydream. There's a Transcendence. Can we see a Ligma to live through this overclock? She does somehow, but then there's an accompanying cage fight ready for single match. It does get broken, but now Love Saint is not being looked at anymore. I mean, she's all the way in their opening.
6 points capped with just a minute on the clock for Shoebill Nation. I don't think I'm going to regret saying this, Mott. Cross my fingers, but I think Shoebill Nation just won this map.
What a push, hot dang. I agree. Real recognizes real. That's what really is happening right now. That was a picture perfect push. 6 points. You don't see it very often when it comes to these grand finals matches. And I'm glad it's happening today in the NA Masters playoff. The whole replay. It was the entire round here. They cleared it so quickly, right? So perfectly. Every ultimate negated from a sort of skilled. The nano, the bob, the terror surge, the transcendence baited out. It was cinema.
It was very well played. It's nice to see Shoebill Nation come back after, capping all 3 and then allowing the 3 cap with even more time to come back, come out with the Malga and say no, no, no. And you don't get to see the capping all 3 points again with only a minute. That's tough to do with those overtime spawns and having to constantly keep someone on the cart. So big ups for the side of Shoebill Nation as now we go to the attack for Sword of Skilled. Looks like they are going to play a Diva composition to try and deal with not only the Malga, but I think they're also trying to deal with this Pharah. Hoxie Foxy going over to the Sombra, which I think is smart because a hero like the Malga relies so heavily on that cardiac overdrive that being able to get those manual hacks in to stop that could be big.
Oh, but Hacking Enchanted has to go for the virus, and instead Hoxie Foxy gets called out immediately in his little room, and so Math is forced to back up around the hotel once again. Now Hoxie Foxy hacking this health pack, gonna be negating it from Aubrey a little bit here. Only a minute left, and there's no viral. There's no viral for the attack. There's only Ligma who's trying her best to stay alive and keep the attack going, but Call Me M gets demagged, and like I said, right, less than a minute, they get at least another fight here. If they had no other time, then oh no,
that's a really bad stagger onto They Call Me M. That's rough. 45 seconds in counting. Nothing really coming online for either team. Again, this is all just going to be about how they play these mid-ground fights. As They Call Me M, I think their job is going to be extremely important because not only do you have to limit what the Pharah is trying to do here in the skies, but you also have to limit the amount of damage thrown in onto this field by simple math on the Malga.
Maybe gets hacked though. Can I be opening pick that Hoxie does fine? It's not. Instead, Dragonor on the soldier now finds his own onto Love Saint. That's massive for the side of Sword of Skill. Now, can we continue that momentum? Can we continue by finding an extra pick onto that? Well, Hoxie Fox is going to try to, but just kind of staying on the high ground. And we have a pause! No. Who do you seed? No, Shadowy! Guys, I am so stressed out. There's a pause in the middle of my almost overtime round 4. Don't talk to me. This is too much. My heart, I can't take it.
It's okay. I mean, yeah, Shadow's going to have to reset there, but the only thing it might affect is, again, they might have to abandon the archway. But, again, you got all 3 points. It's hard to think that I'm going to see. I mean, I just casted a collegiate game on Sunday where we were on Eichenwald, and we almost got extras. The game ended up being 6-5, where they almost completed the 6-6. So that was pretty intense. But I don't think we're going to be getting that again. It's so tough to be able to make. Especially when Sort of Skilled hasn't really shown they know they can deal with this Malga yet. I mean, we'll see. So far, so good, but again, that was also on Dragon getting an early pick on the Sojourn. So I'm really curious how these fights are gonna break out when they don't have the luxury of being able to find a quick opening pick and they have to actually play a long sustained fight where the Malga's cardiac drive could come through a lot stronger.
Absolutely. I don't know. The one thing about Malga, especially when he was at his most devious, was, you know, the way to negate the Malga was to play your own Malga and just play Malga better, or play the Orisa when she got buffed again and kind of put him down a couple of tiers. But it looks like Shadowy is starting to come back. They are readying up, so let's get the finisher for, mind you, game 2. This is map 2, by the way. Like, we have at least 2 more to go if this somehow goes the way of Sword of Skill, which, again, I highly doubt. This is gonna go 1-1. I feel it. We're unpausing. We're getting right back in here.
Unless the both of us just did like the caster curse of all caster curses, and somehow this goes 6-6. But
yes, I'm ready.
We don't do that. I'm not a caster cursor. That's not me.
No, you're a caster blesser.
It's normally my partner. Normally my partner's the one who curses.
No, and you're right, because I really do. I am the caster cursor of all time. There's probably clipped me 1,000 times doing it, man. And there's 4 we're at 4 points to 6. Sword of Skill is coming up on, well, they have the Nano, they're coming up on the Transcendence and the Diva Bomb. So Super Nation, unfortunately, this DC from Shadowy means that barrage is going to be offline, but it builds up so quickly, so it should be okay. And this next fight's happening right on the cart, right on Archways, which is a big advantage that Super Nation has over Sword of Skill defense. Can we find something? I want this Nano to go crazy from Ligma Toes, and is she going to pop it, or are we going to play the neutral a bit longer and build up some of maybe this EMP? Oh, Pharaoh!
I agree with building into the EMP, but at the same time, you're playing dangerous grounds, allowing Shoebill Nation to build into some of these ults. Here we go, Nano.
We're getting active. We're getting active. There's no love saying. Viral gets a pick onto her immediately. The EMP is almost ready. But we're actually going to use the bomb first and foremost. And we avoid death. So Math is going to have the cage fight ready, though. But I know for a fact it's going to save it for a last-minute touch.
Agreed, but the thing is, you did hold on to that EMP. So, with the late stagger on a simple math as well, that's going to make this second point come down to 1 more fight. And even if the cage gets thrown down, I would just be holding EMP to break that cage as soon as it comes out. The one ultimate I'm worried about is the orbital ray for the side of Shoebill Nation. We talk about how good it is, but basically they're going to have all 5, so you can combo so many powerful ults with that extra damage and healing from it.
All I need is Super Nation. They might use all 5 ults here just because it's at the tail end of the B. We're going to use the Hyper Ring first and foremost. Cardiac also ready. We have Barrage also. Shadow is setting up for a beautiful Barrage to be expended here. Is it going to be enough? I mean, they sneak him out almost immediately, and we go for it! Woo! We didn't use it. We still have all our ults. We have the orbital. We're going to a 0.5 here.
Yeah, but that is a 3-for-1, or a 2-for-1 ult exchange of either side of Shoebill Nation, especially because you had way more coming into the fight. You're now in a 4-to-1 ultimate disadvantage. If you're sort of skilled, Viral can only do so much with his Transcendence.
Viral needs to do everything with this Transcendence. We have the Orbital Ray. We get Anthony out of it. The Transcendence is going to be used in response to the Overclock, which does get hacked out by Hoxie Voxie and then shut down. Now we're in this cage. There's nothing negating this barrage from Shadowy. And that, Ray, is all that she wrote. 6-5. Shoebill Nation takes it on King's Row, forcing us into a guaranteed map 5 scenario. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, really, that came down to Shoebill Nation having way more ults to be able to use. Not having that EMP was actually big. You wanted to win that previous fight without having to use it, because that cage just goes so hard, and we saw it come in, especially comboing with that Rocket Barrage, because essentially the Trans did a good job at stopping the Orbital Ray and the Overclock. It was when the other 2 came in and you didn't have anything. That's why you really needed to hold on to that EMP.
Yeah, and the EMP was basically like a safeguard, like you said, against the cage, against the, I guess, the startup of the barrage, because you would see the cage and want to barrage us for pretty much right after the fact, and you would ideally be hacked out of it for a little bit longer, and then focus right down. I mean, like we said, Viral can only do so much with 8 seconds of almost total invulnerability. Again, you can still die within the Transcendence with enough damage output. And we saw a plethora of comps he played. We saw the Hazard, we saw the Ramacha, we saw the Mauga, the Diva, the Orisa. everything was played here between these two guys. And I have to say, Shoebill Nation taking that 6-5 is a beautiful, beautiful thing to see.
And to me, this series, a lot is going to come down, we talked about it, to the map picks and the hero bans. So I think we are going to be in for quite a series going forward between both of these teams. However, folks, we are in a 1-1. Our first NA Grand Final was a 4-0, wasn't super competitive, but we got a banger of a series on for you guys. We're going to take a quick break, give these teams a chance to breathe and reconfigure, and we'll be right back.
It has been an hour, everybody, and we are back. 1-1 series in the grand finals of the Masters division between Sort of Skilled and Shoebill Nation. We just concluded a 6-5 pointer on Kings Road, going in favor of Shoebill Nation, and now Sort of Skilled in this predicament have given us some time, or have been given some time to think about their next map and band choice as they get priority pick on both of those. Right, how are we feeling into this series?
I called this next map choice. I was like, well, you wasted your Winston ban on Ilios. What's the next best Winston map? Gibraltar, baby. Let's go. Winton for the win.
We're going some classic dive, some classic Winston. And like you said, that ban has been expended. So do they, again, want to go against something that will inhibit the Winston dive? arguably, Winston does what Winston does. You want to inhibit the dive? Good luck, says Sort of Skilled. They are going to go for the first ban here, and will they go for the hazard ban? I feel like might be the play here, as sort of as a Shoebill Nation really has a good understanding, good fundamentals, and in playing that composition against Sort of Skilled, and even tripping them up on King's Row multiple times.
Listen, folks, I'm going to say this right now. We can see the bans beforehand, but I did not look at this. But given the Kiri, I know exactly what this is for.
Ooh.
They're protecting their Ana Brig. They want to play Winston.
They're
They're making sure neither of those two get banned.
And they technically have a tank protection because Winston was already banned earlier.
Exactly.
Oh, they're so smart. They're so smart. I'm gonna lose my mind. I also don't look at the bans because our observers wonderfully cover it up for us in the chat. So, but this is a DPS ban to an extent. And it's gonna be Tracer, which is fair. Tracer's whole job on Gibraltar, if you play Tracer, is just to babysit that cart and fight the other Tracer. So another character ban, so she will be free after Gibraltar. And Tracer, I like these. Absolutely like these. I love these, actually. Great bans.
Get my girl Kiri out of jail. It's okay. But with the Tracer ban, I mean, literally the Tracers are probably just going to play Genji. Like, that's kind of like the substitute. Oh, I can't play Tracer. I guess I'll play Genji. Especially on this map. You know, maybe a Pharah, but I doubt it. Maybe an Echo, but I think it's more likely we'll see like an Ashe and then like a Genji probably.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like Genji's gonna be a staple. I think just to supplement the Tracer, the lack of Tracer here, and we'll just kind of just be on the cart, doing executions, finishing off with the fight whenever the fight starts. And I mean, I'm excited to see Gibraltar action. I have seen wondrous things happen on Gibraltar, all throughout this playoffs, all throughout Overwatch in general. But we're ready. We're gonna get into it. Here's the head-to-head. You guys see it. You guys know it. You guys just witnessed it. It's 1-1. Gibraltar, that beautiful. We were just there.
I also feel like I've been going for the longest time on a huge Gibraltar dry spell. But like this entire playoffs, I feel like I've been casting it so much, and it's so welcome. I love casting Gibraltar. Just dive on a map like this is just, there's so much to talk about with positioning. You know, being able to maintain cart control, but still coordinating your dives perfectly. This is just peak Overwatch casting, in my opinion.
It's peak Overwatch casting. If you play it, it's peak playing. Getting that dive off, getting set up, and getting that kill box with the anti-nade, getting the it's so good. I can't say what's better than, but you know what's better than. Shoebill Nation, trying to figure out what they're gonna run, knowing this Winston's coming. They know it's coming. What are they gonna do? I see a hog. They're going to something really cheeky on this bridge here.
Nah, this is just like you try and catch someone on the bridge real quick. But they're playing the Sombra, and they already punish it. Hawks, they're on this defense. They're not playing traditional. I mean, Hanzo is fine on this defense, but again, to pull out the Sombra instead, I think they're expecting the possibility of them going like a Malga on the point or whatever. But they are going to go over to the Winston. So we'll have to see, especially with Love Saint on this Widow. A Widow definitely has a better one-shot potential than the Hanzo, so they're going to have that available to them.
Yeah, but she has to be really careful with this Sombra, because you're going to see Foxy's kind of in the spot. Ooh, nice duck. Has right in the spot that Widow wants to be in. Gets to Virus Solve. Gets peeled, however, by the backline. But in the thick of it, they get anti-nated. Daydream goes down first to Foxy. And Shoebill Nation's attack, albeit they're still pushing the cart a little bit, it's looking a little bit rough here. They have to figure out how to break through that on a big backline.
As we see Foxy in the backline trying to set things up. They have been found, but they will be able to get out. As we see once again, trying to jostle for angles and positioning are these members. They're going to take the long way around, get all the way up to the bridge, and try and take this box high ground positioning away from these supports.
I mean, they take Love Saint out of the fight so early, though. Again, the Widow struggling a little bit here. Foxy finally gets shut down by Shadowy, however, so that could be a little bit of a breath of relief from Shoebill Nation, especially from Love Saint. I can possibly imagine. But look at the ult charge. I mean, Liquid Hose is 30% more than Daydream, but this is all about the objective, baby, and we are pushing the cart regardless of this lack of high ground control.
I mean, and you do get Ligma as well, so you're in a pretty good spot. You don't have to worry about the Nano, but Dragon finding his Genji brother in Shadowy, that's kind of what the doctor ordered.
Just like the cinematic, for real. I love this. This is the second time we've gotten like lore accurate comps from these two teams. Here's a rally that's get forced out by Call Me M, and there's the returning Primal. No Daydream, about to be no Aubrey. Good stun though, but the aggressiveness from Call Me M is to be appreciated, to be loved, to be seen as well. They putting a complete stop on the push of this card, and also shaving down the time. Only a minute and a half left, and it feels like it's been such a slow-paced, methodical game so far.
Not only that, Mott, but you trade Primal for Rally? You will take that every single day of the week if you're sort of skilled.
Oh, and there's a Nano as well, and Untamed Power is there. There's a Dragon Blade, though. Shadowy finds the slice and dice of his brethren, and onto Ligma at the exact same time. That's 3 down for sort of skilled, and that could be the opening they needed just from a raw Dragon Blade. So we could, I mean, we saved the Nano too.
If you're the Sombra, you have an ability to touch him with a Winston EMP!
Oh, big EMP. Even better bubble from Call Me M. And this forced the round to be expended again from Simple Math. Daydream has to come back with this with this Nano really soon here, but I'm not even sure if Ligma, can touch the point. Now that this Nano has been expended off from the high ground, there is a double whammy coming in from Shoebill Nation, and they're going to continue it onwards. 30 seconds left on the clock here. I think Sort of Skills is just looking to contest for a long time and just kind of keep it to about 3 minutes here on second point.
Yeah, I think your main goal there, if you were sort of skilled, was you were likely losing that anyway, was to get them to use every single ultimate they had, and you were able to do that. So big check mark. So on the second point, it's going to be a lot harder for them to push. Yes, they're going to be able to push up and take some forward positions, but you're going to have the ults to be able to try and force them away, or just, you should be able to limit a lot of what's going on.
And try and bully Shoebill Nation off of this high ground of Spaceship. Not going to happen, unfortunately. Shoebill Nation goes right back up. But, I mean, sometimes looking a little bit worse for her. Forced to back up almost immediately back to the objective, which is already halfway through objective B here. Now, can this fight last even longer? The high ground already being controlled by Sort of Skilled once again. It's sort of pull and push situation between these guys. But 2v3, and it's going to be Call Me and looking a little bit worse for Wear. But the rapid fire of the bows do come in favor for Dragonor, and a fine Love Sane. But you go down Hoxie Voxie, very even here.
Yeah, but your Sombra will be back pretty quickly, especially that you got the supports trapped in here and separated by the dragons. My goodness.
Oh, and then we forced the Primal just from the anti-nade being expended multiple times from Daydream. And we go over to Love Saying, get her right back over to the spawn room once more, and go for a nice clean end of the fight here for Sort of Skill to give us time to use this Nano from Shoebill Nation. Double Nano coming in actually from Simple Math and Daydream. No sleep to be seen, but Simple Math can't get this high ground, and Aubrey can't stay alive.
Yeah, so you're gonna get like no value out of the Nano, but the Primal's now active, but you're down 2 of your Shoebill Nation.
And that's massive for Sort of Skilled here. We force out the Primal, we force out the Dragons a little bit earlier as well. Ooh, okay, we're bringing it back. We're missing a double whammy, but we are losing our tank and our Genji. Less than a minute left on the clock here. Both supports, I mean, I have to say, the lack of a trigger finger for Ligma and Viral is so good. I don't know what to call it, but
I was
so
gonna
good.
bring that up. I was gonna say, I'm like, do you have confidence in your team? I thought that rally was gonna be popped at some point, but they trusted their team, knew they could finish things off, and now they're gonna be able to keep that for the next fight, as well as be able to combat with an EMP. And the only tool at the disposal of Shoebill Nation is the blade.
Oh, there's the EMP. I love Lusty on the Cassie, though, finally getting off the Widowmaker, but is it a little bit too late? Only 23 seconds, and we're gonna get a stack onto Shadowy for sure here.
Yeah, that is worst case scenario. So you're going to get one final attempt at a Simple Math. Is going to go over to the Wrecking Ball now, but it's going to be quite the staggered point here. You're going to have Primal, you're going to have Rally, you're going to have Dragons. Still, Shadowy could do a lot with his blade, but they already found Aubrey.
They found Aubrey and they found Love Sane, but they don't look at Simple Math, and that Simple Math just being on the cart forces everyone to back up. However, what's worse is that now everyone can start looking at this ball cohesively force the rally into the into the dragon
Oh, the
strike,
hack.
into the hack, forces ball to stay in the middle of the dragon strike. That's crazy. That was beautiful.
That's a crazy, crazy good spot to be able to hold them as well. Don't even allow them to get the second point. Sort of Skilled put themselves in a good spot to go up 2-1 in this series. I think we're already starting to see things play out, Mott, where map pick's going to matter. And then the fact that the Winston ban had already been used, now Sort of Skilled gets to play the compositions they want. And then they played it smart once again to not allow Shoebill Nation to ban a Brigger and Ana. They do the Kiri ban just for the protect on them not being able to ban a support.
This is Gibraltar, and this is beautiful. This is peak Overwatch to see. And I have to say, I think there was merit in the Cassie swap from Lovesane, but otherwise, I mean, just I have to come in the backline. The confidence in your team to be like, I don't have to use Nano, I don't have to use this rally, you guys got it, I can heal you guys have Primal, you have EMP, we're good to go, we can save it for the very last engagement. And then that's just kudos to them. Genuinely, kudos to the backline.
Alrighty, folks. Sort of Skilled now moves to their attack, looking to take a 2-1 series on lead on this map. Offensively, no surprises here. They're going to stick with the Sombra Winston. It looks like Dragon's going to set the supports up on the high ground. They were highlighting the Echo, however, which I think, you know, on a map like this, I talked about the possibility of seeing both Pharah and Echo, and we're seeing that out of both teams. A simple math. Going to go over to the D.Va as well to try and counteract, because, you know, they weren't feeling the Winston matchup.
Yeah, but we're feeling the Pharah, we're feeling the D.Va, we're feeling the Cassie. This is things that I like to see. If you're struggling in the mirror, why not go through and make it a little bit more difficult against sort of Skilled here, right? Really put those skills to the test. Now, I love the Echo, personally. I love that Dragonor can just force out a lot of these interactions by just using the stickies, but Shadowy peeks a little bit, uses those rockets, and then gets a pick onto Dragonor right in the very beginning of the fight here. Hoxie Voxie on the Pharah job does get rid of Shadowy, and is also now unofficially on cart duty, and then backs out almost immediately after the super map comes and contests it.
As I can see, the entire time, though, the cart was moving, so you got it, you know, in a pretty good spot. As now we see They Call Me M. Taking this second away, and a big anti-nade coming onto the D.Va.
Oh, but even bigger pick onto the call, and so They Call Me M from Lovesane. Unfortunately, Simple does lose the mech here, and we're reset up on this high ground getting this ult charge on this Nano for Daydream, so that's even better for Shoebill Nation going to the next fight.
Yeah, but the big issue is you're nowhere close to your mech, and you can't really reset so easily. So you're just going to have to play this out and hope, you know, this fight goes on long enough for you to be able to build up to it before you get confirmed as a kill.
Oh, Defensive Nade had to be used really early there from the side of Ligmatos. And another one. Oh, everyone's so low. Daydream is sleeping on the job and just couldn't save the team. That was just good sleep, good stickies, good execution. Simple as that.
That's the power of getting the D-Mech in the previous fight, so there's no chance of those stickies getting eaten by the D.Va. They're going to round the final corner. Are they going to be able to get a touch in time? Yeah, the body block coming in from They Call Me M comes through, but it looks like Shoebill Nation was looking to set up on second point anyway, which I think is probably going to be a smart decision. You would have just fed a bunch of ult charge, and I don't think you were going to win that fight, so just get yourself set up on the jet here and get ready.
They gotta get up on Aurora here on the spaceship, and They Call Me M is going immediately for that option and forcing a lot of the space to be upheld by Sort of Skilled here. Now here comes the dive, a good boop, but even better jump back from Call Me M, but they get booped and then nanoed. We don't have a jump for a couple of seconds, then we go straight into it. We have the barrage happening in the backline onto Viral. Aubrey rarely lives, is not able to use the rally at all, but there's a Deadeye in that little room. Forces Call Me M to back up, still gets a little bit of the brunt of the damage of the Deadeye, and in the back of it all, the fight is still going in favor of Sort of Skilled here, even with the Nano being expended at the end of the day on some math. Now here's the hack, here's the D-Mech, here's a self-destruct, into the EMP, into the bubble. Hoxie Voxie still goes down to it, and we took the remech.
The rally is active as well, but a big anti-nade, but they don't have the players to go confirm the kills. So, Shoebill Nation able to keep themselves alive for a little bit longer. They're still going to be facing down a rally and a duplicate from the side of Sword of Skill.
They are at duplicate and a rally, like you said. Oh, runs into the stickies, gets burned down. Now we have 2 tanks on the field here between Dragonor and They Call Me M. Backline being completely focused. We already have self-destruct activated and ready. Is going to be used in the backline up to this Ana. Gets the remake, and that's going to be a clean up of Gibraltar with 2 minutes and 46 seconds to spare. Sort of skilled, bring it up to a nice, comfortable 2-1.
As that map was not particularly close for the side of Shoebill Nation, which to me, again, highlights map pick and bans are going to be so important in this series. And, you know, before we get a map reset, Mott, we have 2 more modes to go through, which are push and flashpoint. Flashpoint definitely going to favor more of those brawl compositions that we've seen Shoebill be good at. When it comes to push, that can depend on the map. Esperanza is going to be a very good, you know, more dive-centric map, but a map like Runasapi plays better toward the brawl, right? So the question is, for the side of Shoebill Nation, are you going to take us to Flashpoint where you feel like you can get a, you know, a big win right now and tie up the series? Or do you favor taking it to a more brawl-centric push map? So, you know, the choice of map when you come to push doesn't go to Sword of Skill to where you know they're just going to pick Esperanza and run their dive on. You know what I mean?
It's a hard. I feel like these last 2 maps, you know, it's difficult, you know, to have them in your back pocket, being forced to go, okay, we're likely going to go to the brawl, but then you have Sword of Skill who know your preferred brawl heroes to play, or, you know, characters around that brawl that we saw early on King's Row, and a little bit here as well on Gibraltar. So as we decide between Flashpoint and Push, I ideally think we're likely going to go over to a Flashpoint, just sort of also simple enough, right? That's what I'm thinking. But like you said, they could also change it up, go to Esperanza, I'm not going to dive, hold on. Go to Runasapi, force the brawl there, and then make sort of skilled have that, okay, we have to go to a flashpoint, force the brawl, and maybe bring it back in that way, you know? So, but that's given, is Shoebill Nation confident enough to take it on push, and then let sort of,
you know what I mean?
like,
so what I mean, for example, right? If you were, let's say, we know the map pick, but it's going to be New Junk City, but let's say you knew, you're like, okay, let's take us to Runasapi. Let's roll the dice and go onto a push map. If you can win that, then they have to pick between Cervasa and New Junk City, and you feel good no matter what. But you roll the dice and you lose, you find yourself down 3-1. You will be going to Cervasa or New Junk City after that, but it's a gamble. But then they didn't get their best map pick for push. So we do know the answer. They have decided, let's just go and make sure we can try and get that map win right now and tie up the series 2-2, because we're going to New Junk City, baby.
And we are, which is, I've always been New Junk City lover, believer. It's always been one of my favorite of the two, again, 2 Flashpoint maps we've had for the past year and a half at this point. So, you know, New Junk City gives way to the Malga to make a reappearance, which I would say might be the ban of choice for sort of skill. I mean, again, we saw on King's Row, they didn't have response to Malga even after multiple swaps and multiple chances.
Shoebill Nation, however, gets the first ban, so they could just ban like Sigma and try and protect the Malga if that's what they want to do. Because we did see that from sort of skill on the last map to protect the Brig and the Ana. So let's say you do protect, ban your tank. Where do you go if you're the side of sort of skilled? Do you try and take a damage? They're going to ban the Venture, which...
Hello?
What? I'm assuming that's a protect, so I'm like, what DPS are you protecting?
We already had a chaser ban earlier.
The May, maybe?
We had...
But the May already got banned. The May already got banned, so you didn't need to protect that. It's got to be something else.
I can't tell you. We haven't had a Venture at all today. I haven't seen Venture in a very long time, unless you're running a very, like, kind of like the Malga Venture Genji we used to see a long time ago. Otherwise, I'm as confused as you. Anyway, so now they have a free tank ban, and that could again be the Malga if we're not gonna go for these protections, if we're not gonna go for these whatever picks, you know?
We're gonna have to see. I think honestly, like, you know, because Malga, did very well for them on King's Row, but you want to make sure you pull out the right band at the right time. I think this is where you put Shoe on the neck if you're sort of skilled.
Okay.
You bound this Maga, you get yourself up 3-1, and you don't look back after that. I think this is the right time to pull it out.
I had to agree. And let's say they don't go Manga, for whatever reason. And let's say they go for like a reset, whatever, right? I still cannot get. I'm sorry. I'm still on the venture ban. I can't get over it. I can't get over the hill, Ray. I cannot jump to the same conclusion off the same cliff. I need to. I'll see if we have an interview with them. I'm gonna ask why the venture ban. I should get my answer in a couple of hours at this point. But it's actually gonna be the Juno. Well, we're speedrunning this. Yes, I love this. Speedrun these bands. We're going to Juno as a band here. So, but all tanks complete open. Juno Brig offline here, likely going back to the Kiriko and Lucio for the back lines of either side. So I know Liquid and Viral are both happy about that. Daydream and Aubrey prefer the Ana Brig, but we've seen them, do wondrous things with just like Ana or Kiriko or Lucio. So still a-okay. Anyone's game here. Genuinely anyone's game.
I think if you're the side of sort of skilled, I mean, you kind of take a look at it, especially with the Mauga, the orbital ray just syncs up with the Mauga composition so well. So I think, that's just, you're getting rid of a very OP ultimate off this game, and you've already shown you can have success with the Kiri Lucio. So I think that's kind of what we're looking at here. I'm just curious to get loaded up into this game because I need to know what DPS they're protecting.
I had to see what the secret sauce is. I have to know what we're protecting. Like they're ready to go. I see them. I need to see who the protect is for. But otherwise, here's the head-to-head reminder: 2-1 for Sword of Skill, bringing it back very, very convincingly on Gibraltar after a devastating overtime loss on King's Row. Now, no swaps. Everyone keeping the same people. I just want to get to this game. I gotta see this.
Very pivotal map for Shoebill Nation to be able to win. You go down 3-1, you're going to have to win the next 3 maps in a row, and the 2 final map picks, if you somehow make it 3-2, are going to be the choice of sort of skilled, so they can bring you to the best available maps for themselves after this. So being able to get the victory here is going to be very important for the chance of them coming back in this series, as we'll be getting you guys into New Junk City very shortly. We're just waiting for the readies from the teams.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna call him out. I thought call him out. But they said 1 minute, so I'll give him a minute. That gives a little more time to talk about New Junk City in general. Oh, we're entering the game. Beautiful. I love my observers are so good this job. Oh my goodness. We're going to New Junk City. We're getting things situated. We already have the hotkey for a very special little guy. He's gonna be coming up on the screen very soon. And here he is, the little guy of New Junk City. Oh my goodness, I love this map so much. Okay, here we go, Ray, the moment of truth. Which damn DPS are we protecting here?
That's going to be the big question. I'm also not sure because I haven't watched a lot of sort of skilled games, so I'm not sure if they do like to pull out the Venture on this map. But we do see Simple Math already loading up on that Mauga. And is Torb what they were trying to protect here? Because
Yo.
Because I get it. You're trying to deter flankers and stuff, but I don't think Torb would have been a priority ban for the side of Shoebill Nation, or for the side of sort of skilled. Sort of skilled is going to run Moira Lucio though, which very interesting. We do not see this composition very often. It's going to be fast-paced, high burst heals, but not long sustained heals. Which that means you got to kill these Manga compositions fast because they have high sustain.
I think the target priority has to be Love or Aubrey. I mean, those two, they're the slowest. They, oh no, Liquid was not looking very good. Also, oh, that's not... Okay, we love Dragon but we trade off for Aubrey. There we go. That's what I was looking for. But like you said, it has to be in and out, and they're two in. And that's what Sigma was able to find a pick on Sakami M. Viral goes down right after the fact. Shoebill Nation is going to be looking really strong on this on the Manga Brawl here. The same song and dance we did see earlier on King's Row.
Yeah, I'm gonna just call it like it is. I don't like this composition from sort of skilled. I mean, it's a lot of high burst damage, but to me, it relies on getting maybe even 2 picks within like the first 7 seconds of the fight, or you're gonna lose people quickly. So that's what you're kind of looking for.
Big axe. Now it's just the 2 tanks going at it, and just like that, you can see how fast they call me M's health pool goes so low, and how quickly Single Math himself can just look at a different target, ignore the queen entirely, and then find a pick onto, for example, Viral, right? Now Dragonor trying to stay alive, trying to keep the queen up, but the Anthony still comes in from Aubrey and gets so much value every single time. This Malga came in like a shield for this Kiriko. Daydream is staying alive as much as she possibly can. However, can our Malga stay alive against his queen? Looks like not. And we're 93, 96 in fact to this rampage, but the points are already at 90% to 0.
So you have to be perfect the rest of the way, but neither team has used any kind of ultimate, so these next 2 fights are going to be extremely crucial for both teams. But I favor the ultimates for the side of Shoebill Nation support-wise, at least. I think Kitsune Rush and Nano is going to do you a lot more than what this Coalescence is going to be able to provide.
We'll see here, because again, this rampage is going to go crazy. We get the Suzu
But they have the cleanse.
Daydream, that'd be... They gotta get it out first. Suit goes out. There goes also the self-nade. Shadowy is no longer in the fight. There is, of course, the rampage. No Suzu to be had, to be seen, to be heard of. And clean engagement, clean in and out, clean rampage, and clean up.
That's huge to be able to win that with just the rampage. So you're gonna have 4 ults to combat these next 5 coming in, and you were behind significantly on the sound barrier charge. Now you should be able to have that to help deal with the cage plus whatever they decide to combo with it, because you're gonna be trapped, so you're going to need that overhealth.
They're going down the lower entryway. Cage can be expended here alongside the Dragon Blade, but there is also the Deadeye and the Coalescence from Ligmatos, who's in a very safe spot on the upper high ground of the arena fight. Now, is it going to be enough, though, with Coalescence now deteriorating and no Junker Queen to help sustain the fight? It's not. Hoxie is going to come back, though, and can we get Ligmatos as well? We do, and Hoxie forced to use the Recall into Stomp into focus. This is going to be Simulation's point here as we start staggering in slowly from Sword of Skill.
Yeah, and you pretty much, with Viral going down early in that fight to the high noon, you weren't able to provide your team with the sound barrier, and to me that was the difference in that fight. And the worst part, if you're sort of skilled, was Shoebill Nation just held on to their poles, held on to their Kitsune Rush. So as now we go to Ducks for the next point, they're going to have a slight advantage, but the sound barrier can basically sustain through the Kitsune Rush, so it's really just going to be, does Shadowy get something with his Pulse Bomb?
Ideally, you want to get out this Lucio or this Moira, right? But any one of these little squishies would be absolutely wonderful. Oh, interrupting the rotation, looking over at They Call Me M, forces sound barrier to be used alongside the Kitsune Rush, mind you. But no Daydream, but we traded off for the Joker Queen. Lots of red and blue going back and forth in the kill feed, but Shadowy getting that last pick on Ligmatos gives me good reason to think that Shoebill is going to take Refinery, the Ducks, first under their belt.
As we see They Call Me M, it's like, all right, it had to match his Malga. Just like me, I'm cringing a little bit. I'm sure they are too, but at this point, it feels like their only answer to be dealing with it. And again, it also resets a lot of your ult charges. We see the Kiri Lucio now on the side of Sword of Skilled.
Which I definitely love with the Malga, especially with Juno being banned at the moment, right? So both Malgas have been looking at each other, getting a lot of just hiya, big stun, big purple, even better cage, and the focus is all on Call Me M, whether they like it or not. No Hoxie Boxy, either. That has been completely recharged for Love Sane. Shoebill Nation is just taking these fights one at a time, easy peasy.
Because now you're going to have the ability, if you're sort of skilled, you'll have, Blade coming up, you'll have Overclock coming up, you got out the cage. The only thing you have to worry about is like a Nano, but they have the ability to get the touch just in time. You got to get going.
They literally did a very last second touch. Now here comes the Deadeye, They Call Me M. simply just couldn't, evade it any longer without being completely focused down. But now everyone looking over at Love Sane, because the Dragon Blade, alongside the Self Nano, also from Aubrey, who already has it so early on in this engagement. Nano Blade gets, not Nano Blade, but Blade gets something done by itself. Hatsubasi uses the overclock just to maybe keep something alive here. But I might be a little bit too late, as we don't get the last touch needed to ideally switch it out and retain that fight. 2-0 so far on Flashpoint.
Yeah, and this is kind of what I thought would happen on this map when it came to this Brawl Mirror, is that Shoebill Nation was going to be able to take the advantage. So they will be pretty much dominating, but Sword of Skill gets to come to this next point. They'll have the 2 support ultimates to be able to throw in, and worst case, they can throw in the cage as well.
This has to be where they make their stand and can keep all 10 toes on the floor here. They have the Casino Rush, they have the Sound Barrier from Viral. They're gonna have almost everything needed to successfully take out this fight. Daydream's so low, she stayed alive a little bit longer though. Has a Casino Rush ready whenever available, and is gonna absolutely rip it clean onto the objective itself. That being Live Control, excuse me, not Daydream. Now Daydream gonna be actually going in with the reversal of that, forcing the Sound Barrier to be expended. Hatsubasi going on a little bit of an off angle, looking at the back line, trying to get a real shotgun charge, and no one's dying here, right? The fight is lasting 10 years, and I spoke a little bit too soon. There goes Dragonor. There goes They Call Me M, and Shoebill Nation should clean up this fight relatively easily.
And again, Sword of Skilled used both of their support ultimates in that fight and still not able to get that team fight win. Absolute disaster. Late staggers coming in as backs against the wall for Sword of Skilled on this map, as Shoebill Nation has come in, played the Malga composition, and absolutely dominated. Does not matter that they don't have the Juno available. The Kiri and the Ana have been more than enough.
Double flex support too coming back. You love to see it. But we also only have the cage and double DPS ults for Sword of Skilled. Aubrey, she's coming up on that Nano, which is going to be arguably better because, again, they keep using both the supports on the side of Sword of Skilled, so they have nothing here for this re-engage besides a hope and a prayer. At this point, we're running right in. The prayer has come in the form of Shadowy going down to a real shotgun charge from Hasivoxy. There's a cage fight alongside the Dragon Blade. It's slicing and dicing. There's also a reversal blade coming in. Now Dragon trapped in, and Shadowy has this something once again from the game. Going right back to the casters, guys. It's a bloodbath in there, literally.
Listen, Shadow, you like to pick the wrong times to DC, man. It's always during like an intense fight where something crazy's happening and they DC. It's okay though. We forgive you for now. But if it keeps happening, I don't forgive you.
One more time. I have to be very careful with, but he came back really, really quickly, thankfully. So we should be able to go right back in immediately. Again, we're in the middle of a cage fight, double cage fight into a overclock, into a blade. People are dead. A lot of people are dead for SOS. They might need a SOS. Is what I would say. Wait. Poxy Voxy, I think it's just themselves in the Malga, and it is. Shoebill Nation brings it right back, baby.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone's able to touch as 97% and counting, and that is going to be all she wrote for map number 4. Shoebill Nation ties up the series 2-2, baby. We got ourselves a banger.
Shadowy, stop disconnecting, because I forgot we were at like 95 on third point of New Junk City. That was beautiful. This was a completely hectic, fully mayhem fight here. That was about to go in the way of Sword of Skill, and then suddenly, boom, Shoebill Nation brings it right back into the fray by just keeping Shadowy coming back from the spawn from DC specifically, and Simple Math just still being alive on the Malga. And now that we have gone to this dilemma now, Ray, we have push available to us. Where is Sword of Skilled ideally going to go here to even this back up?
To me, they are throwing if they don't pick Esperanza. It is the map where they can play all the Winston they want, have that high ground control. Like, my mind is just going to be baffled if they don't pick Esperanza. However, We've gone through another 2 maps, and we are still at a tied series 2-2. So we are going to take another quick break while these teams catch their breath, grab a snack, grab a drink. You guys, we are in some high octane tied series, last grand final of the CGL season. You don't want to miss the conclusion. We'll be right back.
I'm not crazy, Malin. I'm not crazy, Malin. I've just been in a very bad mood for 40 years. 40 years.
Carpe diem. Carpe diem.
It is 2-2, ladies and gentlemen. We are back coming into a map 5 of a first to 4 series best of 7. For those that are a little bit confused on how that works, we are going to be seeing well, actually not seeing anything. People have still not decided quite yet, but we've been racking our heads in the booth back here. It has to be a push before we can do any repeats. We've been hoping and praying is something that sort of skilled would like to go towards. Ideally, you know, Esperanza. Hopefully it's not Rosofi today. I hope it's not Rosofi.
So the other thing I was talking about during the break was once we get through this map, because we know we're going to 6 maps at least. Map number 6, it doesn't even have to go back to control. They can pick whatever they want for map number 6. So that's going to be interesting as, thank you, hallelujah,
Yes!
Esperanza it is. Like, how could it not be? That's like the biggest Winston push map in the game. They've been doing very well when they can play their dive compositions, and I don't know. You can force the Mauga on this map. They have not yet to ban it. I feel like maybe you pull it out at this point. Like, just be like, we're gonna play Winston and you can't play your Mauga.
Part of me thinks they're gonna hold on to that Malga ban till map 7. Part of me really thinks
It's possible.
That. I cannot
I mean,
lie.
If it does go 7 though, like they're, I mean, depending, we'll have to see. Because this map, once again, I talked about how it's important for Shoebill Nation to be able to win the last map because of, you know, how the map picks go. Whoever wins this next map, if it does go the distance to 7, you get to pick the final map. So very, very important just for map pick sakes. As now we're going to be moving here to the ban phase very shortly for Esperanza. Sort of Skilled will get the first ban.
As they should. And will they go for protect? Oh, I lied. Why would I say that? They already banned Winston. That was an hour and a half ago. So, when it comes to the bans here, I mean, we saw some weird ones. I mean, we saw maybe the Venture was a feature protect ban. I keep looking at it and I keep being so confused about it for Shoebill Nation.
I mean, they dominated the map anyway, so I mean, they didn't really matter at the end of the day.
It did not matter. Kiriko, ooh, this is the first time I've seen this. Kiriko has been, like, she's just not allowed to be banned anymore. Now that she's been banned twice from both teams here, which I actually like that she's been grayed out completely. So the backline, oh, it's the Malga. Yes,
Your
it's
boy
Malga.
called it, baby. Your boy called it.
Oh, they call him omniscient. Oh my god, you knew it. You know it's gonna happen.
Because this map is also good for being able to play like a Malga or a Ramatra. So I feel like, you know, where, you can play Winston here. You just take away their ability to play their game on the map where it's 50-50. So you give yourself a decisive advantage. I like what they went for here.
Yeah, completely agree here. And I'm glad they used it. Excuse me. I'm glad they used it here rather than later. I did say they could use it later. They could be holding on to it if they don't go through the Malga ban. But again, of all the maps that we could go to or repeat, this is the best one for Malga if you want to get another leg up in the series. Now, Shoebill Nation, they're like, they banned our Malga. We know they're going to go Winston. Is there something we can do to inhibit the Winston? Because we know that backline, they straight...
Bringing on. Lucio!
Nuh-uh. What?
Why would you ban Lucio?
What?
Were you expecting like Lucio Curie with a Winston? Because they showed on Gibraltar they like to play the Brigana. I am very perplexed by that ban.
My head's exploding right now. You don't see it, guys. My head's actually on the floor. Okay. Actually, I don't know. I was gonna say something, and I realized, you know what? I have no idea what I'm saying anymore. We're gonna see the Lucio ban and the Malga ban. We have the head-to-heads. Again, it is 2-2. This is for the glory. This is for everything these teams have been working towards. This is...
the honor and glory.
This is glory. It's about glory. Oh, I can't do his accent. I'm sorry. I can't do a German accent.
If my voice was in a better spot, I would have been able to do it pretty well. I did as best as I could.
You did great. You did better than me. So you know what? Silent clap. Kudos to you. Because I love Reinhardt. My brother... Give me a Reinhardt map. Well, we did have a Reinhardt map. Give me a Reinhardt mirror. That'd be a good way
to
end
up the series. Give me a Reinhardt meta, and that's like...
oh my gosh, I wish, man. I can get Ryan meta again. We're back. We'd be so back as a country. I think as a country, we'd be so back. As a nation, the world would be back if we had Reinhardt meta. In
oh, the EU would be up in arms with happiness if we were in Ryan metas. The EU would be like, we're so back.
We're winning everything. don't even see us at the land. See what happens. But yeah, not Ruinous Happy. Excuse me. I am so Ruinous Happy pilled. It's Esperanza. We know what one map's gonna go. We're gonna be seeing the Winston. Are we gonna be seeing the Hazard? Ideally, I think from Shoebill. Ideally, that's what I think they're gonna be running if they don't have the Malga and. That's not real.
Nope. Don't talk about it. Don't. I don't even give the team satisfaction when I see that. I'm like, nope, that's not what you're running. But for the side of sort of skilled, I'm a little surprised they're looking to go on a Curie here. To me, I think the Brig is just better. But I mean, the Suzu's still gonna be good. But it's not like they're going up against an Ana, so they don't have to worry about the anti-nades either. So. I'm curious about why the Curie over the Brig.
I feel like once we see this Hazard, they might go to the Brig because Ligmatose, she's not gonna have a fun time against this. I mean, no one does, to be fair. But I digress. We've seen Love back on the Cassie as well, and the Juno and the Kiri backline from Shoebill Nation, and just like that, a nade into a dive into a kill is exactly the sort of skilled way, and another one takes the book. But like I said, Liquid is going to be having a not fun time trading off against Simple Math, and when Simple Math is being uncontested in the backline, he's just gonna take lives, he's gonna take names forever. Good headshot, can we get the last bit of damage? No skill set available, but no Kiri on either side here.
Yeah, you're going to trade out Kiri's with the position Simple Math has found themselves in. It's not looking good. Simple Math goes down. More free card space is going to be afforded for the side of Sort of Skilled.
Ooh, and it's just call me M trying to kind of duke it out against Shadowy here, who did take down his opposing half of Dragonor. Also, Love Saint comes back on the Sojourn instead of the Cassidy, gets a pick on the Call Me M. I like the Sojourn here more than I did the Cassidy, so I completely agree here. And not just once, but twice. She gets 2 picks for the price of 1.
Yeah, that's something you just can't allow to continue to happen if you're the Sort of Skill, especially when you're looking to try to regroup to retouch. So you're going to be able to regroup one more time and touch before these forward spawns come in. But again, you're definitely a little bit behind in a lot of these key ultimate charges right now.
Okay, Bridge does get contested by They Call Me M, forces everyone off of the high ground, but mind you, the car is still pushing casually towards this checkpoint, and They Call Me M is casually going back to the spawn room. Despite that, though, without a tank, I think DPS and support are A-okay with that. They're still looking over at its Simple Math, and can they get rid of them? Oh yeah, they repeat, and then pow, Viro's right there. Make sure that that hazard gets no value. Now, can we also get the Cure? That'd be even better if we can get a stack onto Daydream.
Yeah, but with the late stagger, Simple Math is just now responding, so everyone's going to be ready to take this next fight, so you'll be able to match the distance that's been gained. And again, neither team has used any ultimates, and you're able to catch up in the ult charge, as Viral is almost 15% ahead in that Kitsune Rush charge.
That's a big advantage that Sorosco does have, especially in this lane. If we can push it past the bridge, we're not going to be able to. I hear the pulse on go off on Shadowy, doesn't get much, and this thing gets onto Love Sane, though. But here's again, here is the downpour reversal of Kitsune Rush. Is it going to be worth it, though? Losing out on both Kirikos, it's just a matter of the DPS cleaning up alongside Ligma, and she helps out as much as she possibly can on the Ana, making sure that Call Me M, Foxy, and Dragonor can finish off this fight easy peasy lemon squeezy. Now they should ideally get the checkpoint here, if not another fight.
That was risky business for the side of Viral, who got caught in that hazard ult, and but they were able to get the Kitsune Rush down just in time for their team before they got taken down, and they are going to touch before the forward spawns get capped.
That's pretty good, but even better is a nano onto They Call Me M. Now, M coming onto the backline has a primal also raised, so I 150 HP. He rips it right open, juggles everyone around this objective, and that is how you clean up a fight, even after looking like it was looking a little bit worse for wear for Sort of Skill. Now they still low-ish. They're a little bit low on pulls now.
Yeah, especially with Shoebill Nation coming up on both of their support ultimates. One thing I feel like you need to do if you're the side of Shoebill Nation, because the forward spawns have been afforded, you got to win 2 fights just to get some distance. You need to win 1 fight with Orbital Ray, the next fight with Kitsune Rush.
I mean, we can also just win this fight by getting rid of this Soldier and having this overclock from Hoxie Boxy. Ooh, does get pressured out by, unfortunately, Daydream alongside, the tank and the support of the side of the Nation. So, still looking good for Sort of Skill percentage-wise, or at least meterage. They have 80 to 48 onto Shoebill Nation, and Shoebill Nation looking good with the Kitsune Rush still in the back pocket with both DPS. So I'm not that mad about that.
Yeah, and Hoxie Voxy also used that the overclock in that fight, so it just has one less utility for Sort of Skill to be able to work with 4 of these ults online for Shoebill Nation.
I mean, I was gonna say that's a beautiful time to use that pulse bomb, but they all survive right through it from that little corridor, and especially the fact that we lose out we lose out on the neutral. Mostly we expended the pulse bomb and then we get nothing in return for Shoebill Nation, so that's 1 down, still 3 more to go here.
Excuse me, push the cart, get your forward spawns, please. excuse me, but Shoebill Nation still has ults to be able to work with, but because they got the forward spawns back, it just, you know, they're gonna have to burn more ults just to get more of that forward court progress. Yeah, there's the Kitsune rush, but you have one to match now.
Beautiful rushes down the main way, even better post bomb. No call me M, but the slide into the rail shots of Shadow trying to escape. Not gonna happen on Hoxie Foxy's watch here. The fight's still happening, forces actually the downpour to be expended here, but the backline is unsafe in the hands of Simple Math, but the Anthony does get expended alongside the wall into the surrounding kill onto Simple Math. That is a fight turnaround that a sort of skill just always happens to do easily. It's like, they make it look so easy.
Apologies to Hoxie Moxie that I keep saying Hoxie Moxie, but I think you just got that moxie in your game. You just make those big plays, so he's making me want to say that. But I digress. Nano available for the side of Ligma in this next fight, and you'll get Primal if they call me M.
Oh, double Nano goes off. Ligmatos does get shut down by Simple Math. Now onto their own Winston here. Might be seeing a little bit more of some value from, you know, just kind of mirroring the same composition. Save for the Juno rather than a Brig or a Kiriko. But otherwise, this fight is looking really good for Shoebill Nation. Yeah. Juno Winston is a little weird.
No, I didn't like popping that Primal there. I feel like it would have been better served for the next fight, but I mean, still, you still have the forward spawn, so you'll be able to take another fight in the mid game here. Support ultimate's still not online yet for Shoebill Nation, so they're gonna have to juggle a little bit here in this mid game to try and make something happen, especially with these DPS ultimates looming. Sort of Skilled could get aggressive and find these kills before these ultimates for the supports come online.
Less than 3 minutes left to go. Big stick happens to the Ligmatos, so that's pretty much ideally the opening that Shoebill Nation needed. Now, again, we get the reversal pick here from Hoxie Foxy onto Shadowy. He has it back up though, being so low, gets looked at by Lovesane, who is also on her own sojourn. And now another slide. Oh, I mean, the maneuver, the ankle breaking, so good from Hoxie here. Forces the Kitsune to be used from Daydream, and thankfully we have an Orbital Ray online again, which we're actually going to be using immediately here, Ray. No sense of, no breathing room to be seen at all. Overclock also you be used by Hoxie Foxy. Lovesane being so low still finds her one on the Dragonor, and this fight went kind of crazy, I have to say. Oh, fight still going. Lovesane, and she finds the last lap onto Call Me M, and she will be ideally pushing this a little bit further. There we go.
Yeah, forward spawn's going to get unlocked for the side of Shoebill Nation, so less than 2 minutes on the clock, so this next fight is going to be extremely important for Shoebill Nation. You'll have an overclock and a Primal Rage.
Ooh, big pulse, even better Suzu to be used, and the Primal also has to be expended here. There's a Winston cowering behind this train, just this double-decker bus here. Not going to get much, though, as the rest of the source goes for a backup. Is that double-decker? No, it's regular bus. Thing.
It's a regular bus. It's like a little trolley bus.
I was thinking the Kings Row, like the holiday one.
Trade's coming out, but you'll take a Juno for a Tracer if you're the side of Sort of Skilled, but they do get Hoxie Voxy in the meantime.
And they get Lovesane as well from Ligmatos' offensive nade here. Still, Shoebill Nation still having Simple Math onto the objective and having to kind of play a little bit of catch-up and hot potato with this push bot right now. Unfortunately, Call Me M a little bit low, but he has a Primal already, so we're going to be using it. Forces the recall also being expended here from the side of Shadowy. So Call Me M is just kind of looking right at Lovesane, gets the big extra damage from that bounce perk here, and gets it again onto the Juno. Ideally, I mean, Call Me M is just soloing everybody. Yeah, you get called out by Simple Math, but not before kind of single-handedly winning this engagement by yourself.
20 seconds left on the clock. If you can get these, you can get this cart in a decent spot, possibly get these forward spawns. Shoebill Nation gonna have the Kitsune Rush and the Pulse to work with, but Sort of Skilled will have both their support ultimates. This is going to be an interesting last fight.
Well, you saw the patience, waiting for the Suzu to be used, waiting for the TP to be used, goes for a dive, unfortunately can't follow up on it. This is going to come down to this Nano and these Kitsune Rushes from either of these Kirikos. These uses hers first. Viral going to be responding with his own. Ligmatos also Nano now being utilized and depleted No love seem to be seen, but has been stolen away by the red team here as we lose Aubrey and look over at Ligma. Simple math does find Hoxie Boxy, is just Homie M on the objective, does find his one. The pulse bomb does go wide, doesn't really find too much. Double pulse bombs go wide, but the melee, the blink melee takes down Dragonor, can come and bring it back and stay alive by the legs of Viral, and he does. That is a 3-2 for SOS here for Sort of Skilled, winning it out in a very close push map. Now the choice is Shoebill Nations. Where will we go? Any map is open now.
Yeah, we kind of talked about the importance of winning this map. Sort of Skilled, able to get it, so if we do go the distance, Sort of Skilled will get to pick whatever final map we go to. So at this point, if you are the side of Shoebill Nation, map pool completely reset. You get to take us to whatever map you feel most comfortable in. And at this point, I don't even, like, there's no way, like, you're going to be, like, if you're the side of Sort of Skilled, and, you know, I don't think they'll be taking us back to Push or Flashpoint. So you could take us there, you know, maybe if you wanted to go to Servasta where you feel the brawl's pretty good, or one of the other push maps. But I don't know. I feel like maybe you take us to one of your better escort maps or one of your better hybrid maps, or maybe a control, because you want to make sure you limit all the possible dive maps off of the field for the side of Sort of Skill to be able to pick. So you want to pick one that's good for you, but you also want to pick a map type where, like, if you take escort off the table, that takes a lot of dive maps off the table. You know what I mean?
We might be seeing Kings Row Overtime 6-5 Part 2, is what we're basically saying. And that's why I might be a little scared of that if we get another Kings Row pick. I do think it'd be...
Oh, we can't go to Kings Row. It's out. You can't go to a map twice, so it's off. It's just they can take us to any map type remaining that hasn't been picked.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm about to say, I thought reset, and I was like, oh damn, really? Not again.
Reset, like all the map types are now available.
I was got scared.
It's not like a set order. Like you don't have to go to control for the next map, essentially.
Okay, sounds good. I was gonna say on that note, I would to knock out Root, knock out Rialto, both of which can absolutely be played with a dive. I would go Shambali. In that sense, if we wanted to go to an escort. Now, unfortunately with Hybrid, you're kind of left with the dive maps of all time of Blizzard World, of Hollywood, of Nuban. Again, the dive maps to be seen ever. So that's likely where we're going to be going towards, I'm sorry, when we go with Shoebill Nation's pick here, it might be back to control.
I mean, maybe they just take us to Lijiang Tower, put us on a brawl map, and just make sure they get a map number 7.
Exactly. The reality of map 7 is coming more and more real to me as like the series goes on. I'm like, this might...
Yeah, this is awesome, man. This is, what more could we ask for in our final grand final of the season? CGL Season 15 coming to a close after this series. I feel like, what else, you know, to end the series on a 7-map banger, like, that's just poetic.
That's great. I predicted it to be at least a 6-mapper, which is coming to fruition.
You know, we were hoping to get the banger in the Diamond division, but we didn't get that, so we need the Masters to deliver for us.
It's because they didn't cast it. They didn't put on a
I mean,
show.
South America also delivered pretty hard. I don't know if you guys are watching the South America one, but that also went 7. That was a great series. But we do have the next map pick.
There it is.
Not surprised here. I kind of brought this up beforehand. Suravasa is where we're going to be headed.
Yes, and I also want to say on the note of South America, I'm so glad they were added for this season. I think it just expanded so much in just competitive, like somewhat casual competitive play that CGL offers. I think that's so so cool. I got very excited about that kind of stuff. But otherwise, yes, we're going over to Suravasa. Very excited to see this map 6. And will it be another 3-0? Because we saw the 3-0 Junkertown. I keep saying Junkertown. New Junk City earlier, just 2 maps ago, actually. So Shoebill Nation, they have the world in the palm of their hand. We have a lot of characters crossed off for these bans here for Shoebill Nation. The choice is theirs. I can only predict for so long at this point, you know?
Which is going to be interesting, because the other thing I was thinking about is if this does go the distance, Sort of Skilled not only gets the first map pick, but they also get the first map ban. So let's say they win this. what I would do if I was sort of skilled, take us to Numbani. I think that's in the pool, right? Yeah, that is. You take us to Numbani, and then you do another support protect ban and keep your brig Ana is what I would do. But we're gonna see the Ana ban coming out on Servasa, which I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't really expecting an Ana. I expect more Brig Juno of the likes. So, but we haven't really seen Brig Juno out of sort of skilled either. So that's one thing to keep an eye out on. So next we're gonna get the ban from sort of skilled.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think we might just be seeing the Juno with like Juno Kiri, and that's it. Or, you know, we haven't seen the Juno Lucio quite yet, and I think in Flashpoint I see it more often than not. The Juno Lucio. I don't like it per se for myself. As a Juno player, it's just a lot going on and ultra fast, but otherwise, with with Ana being the ban here for Servasa, Sorosco kind of has the world open for them. They already expected their Malga ban here, so that's a-okay. They know that Malga's going to come forward, so what can they do to kind of inhibit it? What can they do to really put a notch down on Malga? And honestly, yeah, what? Orisa? I think we're banning whatever. I think we're at the whatever ban of this stage. Because Gami M plays Orisa here, you know?
I mean, to be fair, I mean, the support ban had already came in. Oh, looks like it's a Cassidy ban.
Oh, okay. That makes a lot more sense. The Cassidy was really strong.
I was going to say, regardless, like, let's say you're expecting the Malga. I mean, at this point, you know, with the Malga ban, the only thing you can do is try and ban a support to limit it. But the support was the protect ban anyway. So, I don't think, you know, banning any single DPS is going to affect the composition too much, but the Cassidy was giving them problems previously, so it's not that surprising that they look to go that direction. I just don't think it moves the needle a lot with this Malga composition. I mean, literally, you're just going to play Sojourn instead.
Yeah, I feel like this is a very interesting thing about bans, and like as a game goes on for up to 7 maps, it starts to kind of plateau at a certain point where you get all the good bans in the first 4 maps or 5 maps, and you get this map 6, map 7. It's like, okay, these aren't going to be inhibiting a whole lot from the game plan, you know? And it's a very interesting dynamic to see. Like, the longer something goes on, the less impactful the bans sort of become, as bans cannot be repeated and so on and so forth. And of course, they're not going to ban Malga. You know, why would they do that? You know, that being... excuse me.
Pigeon!
But otherwise, Pigeon, we already know who is on the Observer cast today. I see you. But we have Pigeon cams for Servasa, as we always should. Yeah, it's gonna be Malga. It's gonna be Malga Fest today, for sure.
Here we go, baby. Match point available for Sort of Skill to win the NA Masters Grand Finals and be the champions. Shoebill Nation gonna have to win the next 2 maps in a row as we see what these teams are lined up in. We've seen previously this hazard composition out of Sort of Skilled. We're gonna see how it goes, and they will have Hoxie Voxie go over to that Sombra, which it's had hit or miss success going up against the Malga, as we're going to see that coming out, and Shadowy going to play the Torbjorn in this situation, trying to deter Hoxie Voxie as much as possible. You know, whether we saw a Tracer at Genji, but in this case, it's going to be the Sombra.
Interestingly enough, I love the rotation difference here. I mean, everyone on Shoebill Nation is going together as a unit towards his backside of the point, whereas Sort of Skilled go for a 3-2 split here. High ground array being utilized by They Call Me M, forced to back up, and being carried by Ligmatos here on the Kiriko in the Juno backline from Vira as well. But there goes Daydream, done by the days of Hoxie Voxie on this Sombra. No more Ligmatos, however. Turret is going to be uncontested in this corner here, and no one's offering to break it, so it's going to also take the life of They Call Me M really easily.
So we're going to see a lot of damage throw down onto Simple Math, and with that hat coming in as well, they're going to go down. So a window of opportunity has been open for Sort of Skill to get back in here and make something happen with no tank available right now.
Nicely done. They take care of the turret before the fight as well. Good little pre-fight ritual to do here. And going around the corner, watching as the rig drops down. We got the virus and the hack onto Love Sane, and Dragonor picks it up and cleans up the fight with this Sojourn that we rarely see but a couple of times, but has been so proficient at her regardless.
Point and flip going to come in for Shoebill Nation. I mean, for Sword of Skill. And I do think the 65% is a good marker to be able to hit, because even if you end up losing the point again, you're going to have an ability to regroup and push in once again. But ideally, you're going to win these next 2 fights, and it's not going to matter. As they call Dragon actually 10% away from the overclock.
Yeah, Dragonor doing extremely well on the Sojourn already, kind of outpacing Love Saint in that regard, and DPS for Shadowy also lacking a little bit in the Molten Core, which would be really good with that cage fight from Simple Math whenever it does come online. But the dive comes in anyway from They Call Me M, and there's if they win the fight neutral here, Susan does miss his mark a little bit at the same time, but here's the overclock from Dragonor around this long sight line, and everyone's backing up. Downpour goes a little bit wide, and we find too much from behind the wall. But finally, right, the Molten Core is ready. We don't have anything to really collaborate with it on, but they're going to have to go crazy and use it regardless. And it's going to be blocking up the entire way, kind of forcing Call Me M to a really bad spot.
That it is. They're going to look to distract everyone in the backline. Rally's going to come out for Aubrey. Point and flip comes in. EMP 3% away for the side of Sword of Skill. And I think this EMP with the orbital ray is what they're relying on. But they might just want to wait until this cage fight comes down just so you don't have to deal with that.
I mean, Hoxie Voxie is ready for this EMP to be expended here. And here's the orbital ray from the side of Viral. Here's a cage. It gets broken down by, of course, that EMP. And so does Simple Math. Unfortunately, it kind of just gets completely rolled over with the power of that accompanying orbital ray into the EMP. We saw one from Daydream as well, and it might actually be enough to sustain the fight. Shadowy on the Torbjorn, a little bit of a tankier character. No one able really to shut him down whatsoever. And this is going to be another fight where I think Sword of Skill is going to have to stagger in and kind of hope on a prayer that they bring it back on Servos if they don't, at least on first.
Yeah, not able to get it done. That overclock coming in from Love Saint at the end to finish off a couple of kills was absolutely crucial. As we move to Gardens for that next point, Shoebill Nation going to be able to set up defensively here, which is going to be big. But they are going to be facing down this downpour from They Call Me M. Last time, kind of missed. Didn't really get anyone, just kind of forced positioning. They need to find some picks with it this time around.
I feel better that Dragonor also got confused and started going to Palace instead of Gardens. Me too, bestie. That made me feel a lot better as a Diamond player. But we are on Gardens. Shoebill Nation is set right up for this engagement. But they don't have much going on for them except for the rally and the Molten Core coming up here. But they're going to have nothing for this downpour, which finds 3 completely stuck in place. But no follow to be seen from Call Me M and company here. So Sword of Skill, use the downpour and get nothing out of it. They're down a really key ultimate here. Now they might have to fall back on Lickmatosis, continue rush just to enter this fight and break open. But there's a rally from Aubrey which got charged up during this engagement, during the pre-fight. Here's the Molten Core forcing everyone back out. And just like that, during that entire engagement, Shoebill Nation not only unlocked the objective, but they also got 37% for it.
On the side of Shoebill Nation, pretty dominant on this map. They're going to have an orbital ray to work with for this next fight. If they win this next fight, based on the percentage, Mott, this is going to be a very quick 2-0 and 2-point caps going towards Shoebill Nation.
Sword of Skill is trying their best to like set up and be patient, but I feel like they can't do that. They gotta go fast with an orbital ray. The orbital is gonna be connecting and bisecting here on the objective, but through the cage fight, no EMP from Hoxie Voxie to shut it down this time. This is going to be another one team fight for Shoebill Nation off of just being aggressive.
2 points capped. One more for Shoebill Nation to send us to a map number 7. Simple Math's going to take a victory little nice bath in the waters of India. We do see They Call Me M now going to swap over to a Diva. We've seen this swap come in with, mixed results as we head to Temple for the next sub point. Hoxie Voxie, EMP available. Nothing really there for the side of Shoebill Nation outside of an overclock.
I'm gonna set up here. Nicely done. Again, this Diva had some success on King's Row, but the EMP makes it a lot easier to to get all the value needed on this Diva. Love seeing me the last one to go down. 1 EMP down, 5 heads taken off from Shoebill Nation. Now they're gonna be coming back with overclock here, and SOS has to do something about that.
I mean, you'll have a Kitsune Rush, which provides just a lot of healing and, you know, Suzu reset pretty quickly, so it might give you what you need to be able to outlast. But after that, you can just throw down the Molten Core to really, you know, force positioning and maybe get a couple kills.
So the shot does get eaten up by They Call Me M here. And here comes the Kitsune Rush. I love, look, they're going first. And look what has me go first. You get an opening pick on Aubrey on the Brigida, and Shoebill Nation has no choice but to back up. Aubrey was 88 to that rally, and she now has to come back from the spawn room, and now SOS is kind of pushing up here. I love it. I love when you go first.
Could not agree with you more, but that's one less ultimate you're going to have to deal with these big-time ultimates coming in from the side of Shoebill Nation, so you got to hope that you have the sustain needed. I mean, this DM should help.
Goes to double overclock though. Dragonor comes in, finds a little more success with his than Love Sane does with hers. Despite that though, point flips over to Shoebill Nation right in the nick of time before overtime does get activated here. No Daydream, no I'll say Luna. Whoa, different game. No Juno here for Shoebill Nation. We have to use this self-destruct for the second least on life from Call Me M. But simple math says the math is 2 + 2. We're gonna use Cage Fight, and we might die because this orbital ray from Viral just came at the right moment. Finally, SOS has awakened again, and they're gonna get a point here on Saravasa.
I honestly think you could have won that fight without the orbital ray, so it's a little, you know, bittersweet if you're sort of skilled to commit that to that fight. But I get it, you know, backs against the wall, you got to get a point in your favor, so I understand what they were trying to do. But here we go. EMP available for Hoxie Voxie. And we saw what happened last time on Temple. You know, the EMP just opened things up and won them the fight very early on. That's what they're going to look to do again, get aggressive.
Oh, we're getting aggressive with this EMP right onto Aubrey. We lose Hoxie Voxie, but I'm pretty sure you're okay with that as a Sombra when you use that EMP and, you know, and everyone looks and turns right at you. But without Aubrey and aging being so low, she can't re-engage with the Juno. But she will have the orbital ray here. So that's going to be a really good opening for Shoebill Nation when they re-emerge, which they will do even without their Brig. I love where this orbital ray is, but the kite out from SOS Skilled is really good, so it gets little to no value. But it does open up this fight, this point to go over to Nation first and foremost. Dragon on this high ground set up beautifully for this overclock, finds 2 easily, and I mean just has to look at this Malga, and then he falls apart as well.
Yeah, folks, once again, that's how powerful orbital ray is. You're down 1, you can still flip a fight in your favor, but overclock going well for Dragon. They're going to just stagger and look to get as much percentage as they can. 40% and counting for Shoebill Nation, as Sword and Skilled with his Diva composition is starting to find some success dealing with this Mauga, and they're going to have a Kitsune Rush to boot for this next fight.
And they're setting up to be pretty close on this corner here. Hoxie Voxie looking a little bit worse for wear. Does TP right out away from the Rats. A simple math here. Like you said, Kitsune Rush is going to be ready from Ligma. And this remake has to be massive. And even better, we get the remake and we get the rush out right on time. So math forced to back up almost immediately out of the confines of this Kitsune Rush, of the confines of this Diva. And this fight just goes completely awry for Shoebill Nation, with Dragonor just getting so many good picks with these rail shot charges alongside Hoxie Voxie. Oh.
I mean, it's not going to matter. The trade for the Brig and the Sombra is so much more in favor for Sword of Skilled. Hoxie Voxie is going to be back extremely quickly, and I don't think you can push this fight without your Brig. Last time they did, only because they had the orbital ray. They do not have that at their disposal anymore.
They're going to take a poke for a little bit longer here, Ray, but I'm not sure if I would do that either, especially with Viral having his own over to Ray here. We do see this Trover a little bit called out by himself. Here's a rally. Call me M. Might have to use that bomb a little bit earlier than expected. Here's the Molten Core alongside the overclock and the orbital ray here. Look at this Trover inside the middle of my orbital ray. Dragon does just that, and we might be able to find us at a round 5 of Saravasa. This is do or die here for either team here.
Expensive fights on both sides. That was a 3-for-3 ult change. The one thing you're going to have if you're Shoebill Nation is you're going to have the overclock coming in to this final point of Ruins. And this is it for Shoebill Nation. They have to win this point and send us to map number 7. They're going to stick with the Mauga, and if you're sort of skilled, you're going to be behind a little bit because they call me had to reset after getting demeched in that fight.
At least Komi M does have the Deal Bomb ready just in case. Mito is also going to be coming up on her Continuing Rush as well. Only 80% to Daydream's 84 on Orbital Ray. So if Dragonor can look at this Juno and take him down immediately, that'd be great. But force out the small hallway. Now we have Shoebill Nation once again taking the first point, the 5th point first in this engagement. What are we going to? We're going to look at the Sojourn, and we're going to be battling out, forcing the slide out, forces the Malga to charge in, and Love Sane with no cooldowns gets completely sought out by Dragonor. Now here's the Orbital Ray, the Diva Bomb does come in, everyone's backing up from it. Oh wow, they actually killed M during the, before the remake, but the rest of the team stays alive long enough to just kill everyone else in the meantime. 42%. We've seen Cersei do this just before on Palace. Can they do it again?
And once again, Lovesay never used that overclock. I mean, at this point, Dragon's already built up to another one. So you're going to be able to match that in this next fight. No Orbital Ray coming online anytime soon. So I kind of actually like the spot Sort of Skilled is in. They're coming up on the EMP as well.
Oh, here's the overclock from Dragonor. There's a trade-off between Love Zane and Hoxie Voxie, just like you said. So no EMP to be charged up here, but neither will this, neither will Daydream. You know, not getting any sort of Ultras being dead so early on in the fight here. Now it's really just up to Aubrey, who's already low herself, to bring it back and help some math here. Already lapping percentages here for Sort of Skilled and over Shoebill Nation. They're going to keep these fights going longer and longer. And
that's really bad. You need to get out. You need to get out. You're only going to get one more chance if you're Shoebill Nation, and you're going to have a lot of key ultimates, but you can't keep staggering like this. 20% and counting. That might be it. I don't know if anyone can touch.
No, he can't. They had 10%.
That's it.
That's it. They're going to push forward with his EMP. Shadowy's going to try to on the Tracer, but we're at 99%, and no one can touch. Sword of Skill takes it 4-2 in the Grand Finals. Reverse sweeping on Saravasa, and they are your Masters Division champions of Season 15. What a good show!
The Diva and Sombra swaps coming through in great fashion to cause the reverse sweep on Saravasa and deny the map 7 away from Shoebill Nation. Sort of Skilled are your NA Masters champions. They win the Grand Finals 4-2 fashion.
Wonderfully done. Predicted in the beginning, 6 maps. That's what I thought was going to happen. Now, listen, this was a treat to watch. I always say that with all the Grand Finals. All the Grand Finals have been very much a treat to cast, the ones that I have been a part of. And this is just a recap. Wow, this was 2.5 hours ago, Ray. Oh my goodness. It feels like watching, I don't even know what it feels like watching. It feels like watching kids grow up. It's actually really cool. All the cool moments, a 6-5 on Kings Row, a perfect 3-0 from Shoebill on New Junk City, a reversal 3-2 from Sort of Skilled on Saravasa, a absolute banger Gibraltar map. The Ilios that started off for Sort of Skilled in a 2-0 fashion. It was movie after movie after movie after movie up in here.
Yeah, it was just an amazing series. Just a great way to cap what has been an amazing Season 15 of CGL. And I'm just so happy with how this went.
I have to agree with you. I think this is my favorite season. My favorite season to cover. So I think to date, every season it gets better and better and better. Competition gets better and better and better. But I feel like the Masters tier, a rank that's so attainable for the average person playing Overwatch, and seeing what Master players can play and how well they can do and how entertaining it can be for everybody, for casters, for producers, for players, for the plat players that you're friends with, for top 500 players that are playing in open as well. It was an absolute treat to cover this this Grand Finals. Cover it with you, Ray. It was a banger after banger. I'm happy.
You guys were able to see how this series went. Traded maps back and forth for the first 4 maps. Then Sort of Skilled able to lock in, win a very close final 2 maps of Esperanza and Suravasa. Let's go ahead and take a look, and I think these bans did matter when they happened. I think that first map, getting the Pharah out of the way, and then Kings, they did lose it, but I think that was a really good May ban. But I think the key one was going into Esperanza and banning that Mauga. They saved it for the right time and situation, and it really secured them the series.
I have to agree. Any later, I feel like we would have definitely gone to map 7, and that's when it would have gone really precarious, where you're like, okay, there's a genuine 50-50 shot that we lose this right now before map 7, and I'm just glad that, you know, the bans happened the way they did. They worked out beautifully for sort of skilled. And speaking of, I need to get one of these people in here for an interview because we have some questions. We have some congratulations in order for these guys. But otherwise, 4-2 victory. Also, kudos to Shoebill Nation coming all the way in that insane losers run, coming all the way to grand finals, going 4-2 toe-to-toe is sort of skilled is nothing short of feat in of itself. So absolute kudos to Shoebill Nation. But otherwise, we're going to go to a very quick break, grab one of the victors for an exclusive interview.
Actually, we're grabbing two. We got They Call Me M and Dragonor coming in for the interview.
Oh, we got 2 interviews to close out the final grand finals, wow, of season 15. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back with those 2 for you guys. Oh boy, do I have a treat for everybody today. We have They Call Me M and Viral up in the booth today for a double interview for after an incredible 6-map series, taking it all in the Masters tier. You guys, how are we feeling after that absolute insane 2.5-hour game, by the way? How are we feeling?
I mean, we won, so it's like what can you feel besides amazing? So
I'm so hyped. I kept it cool during all the games, but like all the energy is surging into me right now. I'm shaking.
Yeah, I'm proud of us.
Awesome.
SOS in the winning column.
Yeah, awesome. I know Shoebill wasn't exactly who you guys were expecting to make the grand final, so I think huge shout out to them. And they took you guys to 6. Were you expecting this to go the way it did, or do you think Shoebill Nation pushed you guys a lot further than you guys were expecting?
I mean, you're definitely right. Like Shoebill was never the team that I saw coming to grands. A lot of watching playoffs. Of course, I thought it'd be low ground main, maybe even like Celestial Knights, maybe even Fellowship Esports, but I mean, like, this wasn't a team that we thought about too much. So I think it's amazing for them to like be here and be ones to take us like 2 maps from us. And I think that like, I think 2 maps isn't bad. If you look at our history, we love trolling a map. So I think it only makes sense in a best of 7 to troll 2.
Yeah, not to mention, like, the last time we played them, we didn't really think much. So I don't think we ever thought they'd take maps off of us.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I looked into it, and you guys hadn't played them since week 1, and you guys 3-0'd them, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, but, okay, so in this series, as it was progressing, it was pretty clear that you guys were going to win any dive map, and that whenever they were playing the Mauga, I mean, until the final map, that they were going to win it. So when it came to Esperanza, I even said beforehand, I'm like, I think this is where you finally drop that Mauga ban. Like, the nuke just comes out just because Mauga can be so good on Esperanza to go against that dive. Is that kind of what you guys were thinking as well? You're like, all right, it's time to just go for the throat.
I mean, it was only after... What map? New Queen
Yeah,
Street?
New Jump City.
We originally thought they were a Ram team. I only seen Ram and Monkey. So we didn't even think about the Mauga till then, but like our guy can't play into Mauga, so
I suck at playing this Mauga. It's so boring. The
gets
is
shot
boring.
and falls over. It's great.
And yeah, I mean, if I'm being clear, my team hates me, and I was pleading and begging to ban Mauga on New Junk City, but they didn't want to do it. And then I finally got him to do it on Sura, or not Sura, Espa.
Like I said, I didn't know they played Mauga.
Yeah, kill me. I did DM my manager right after saying never let my other teammates ban again. Just listen to me.
Sure, guy.
So yeah.
Okay, well, I guess I'll ask my question. After winning this bracket, I had to ask, do you guys have any future plans as a team together? Do you guys, will you be coming back and, you know, taking the throne again? I want to know some of your plans after finally finishing up the season.
You know better than me, Varro.
No plans. All focus has gone into this tournament.
Alright.
We don't know yet.
Yeah, definitely. Like, we've been holding off on scrimming characters like Freya, because like we just want to win here right now. Like this was the moment in our eyes.
Just to build on that a little bit, like, is your team able to stay in Pact and Masters? Do you guys have to move up to GM if you guys come back? Like, what's the situation?
I do think we technically would have to go to GM. And even if we didn't have to, I think we would. I don't want to say this is too easy for us, but we want to keep ourselves punching up. And personally, I'd rather be one of the worst teams than one of the best, because I would love a challenge.
It's gonna be a fun one because RRG is 2-time defending champs in the GM tier, so
we're not
got some
E3.
punching up to do up there.
And then of course there's other tournaments like SBCS, Face It stuff. So I imagine you'll start seeing SOS a lot of different tournaments, and don't be surprised when we're winning them all.
Well, that's wonderful. And I know it's late. It's been a long day for you guys. Long night, in fact. Thanks for guys at 10 o'clock and going the distance. I had to ask both of you, who do you want to give a shout out to on the final season 15? That's crazy. Final season 15 broadcast.
You first, Viral.
My beloved team putting up with all of us. My manager / support duo, Dead Dove, and Thistle from Lindenwood Academy, helping us for free whenever. The best guy. Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, to piggyback a little bit, shout out to my team. I love you guys so much. Viral, you're my favorite main support I think I've ever played with in my life. You're really smart and you're really good at what you do. That Dove, you're a wonderful flex support, and like you keep me up, and I want to feed so bad, and you keep me on the leash. Dragon, you're a psychopath maniac freak, but you're really, really good at what you do. You played every DPS pretty well. Vox, I went into this match honestly just scared because you haven't had as much playtime as Dub, but like, dude, you stepped up, and I'm really proud of you. And like, I'll say that again in VC in probably 30 seconds, but like, I love you, and I know you give you shit, but you're awesome. Dub, fuck you for being sick, dude. You're a stupid monkey. Shout out to Thistle. That guy coaches at college. Really, really, really smart guy. He lives for the game. Shout out to Shoebill Nation. You guys played really well, and I know I'm taking super long, but shout out to you casters. Shout out to the production team, and shout out to CGL. I fucking love you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We love the kind words. And again, you guys gave us a wonderful last hurrah for the season 15 grand finals. So all kudos to you from us over here. But otherwise, I will let you guys go. Enjoy your victory. Bask in the lights. And we'll hopefully see you guys for season 16 in the Grandmaster tier. Oh, moving
Ooh.
up in the world.
Eyeballs. Eyeballs.
Oh,
Go.
oh, all right. I'll let you guys go. Congratulations for winning. Tell the team we said congrats as well, and have a wonderful night. Okay.
Good night, CGL Nation.
Well, they're great. That whole team is full of crackheads. I'm convinced. I have never been so convinced so quickly. But that's the best kind of environment to really like play in, I feel like.
Could not agree with you more. That was quite the interview, quite the grand finals, quite the division. They gave us everything we could have asked for. But before we end things out, I want to shout out our production crew for today. We had Hippie, who was prodding, and then we had, I believe, Headrammer doing replays, and then Unfeatured and Orange doing the observing. We couldn't do what we do if it wasn't for you. So, and then for me, final message from one of the stream team leads. Hippie also is the other stream team lead. He was running production tonight. Just thank you, everyone. We've always had lively chats and awesome stuff going on. I want to thank everyone on the stream team. I think this was a very, very, very successful season. We got so many games done. We were able to present so many great storylines to all the people watching. And I want to thank every single team who competed in CGL season 15. I think it was probably the best season we've done so far, and we only hope to build on it more going into season 16, which will be in August. And then just make sure to continue watching out for the pings for all our off-season tournaments. We'll obviously be doing GOATs again in the summer, so make sure you watch out for that. And then one more big shout out to Mr. Headrammer, Mr. Bossman. He is a godsend for all of us. And he just makes everything happen in CGL. And without him, this wouldn't exist. So huge shout outs to him. And thank you all for tuning in. This has been me and Mott on the mic. Season 15 is now over, and we'll see you next time for an off-season tournament. Later, guys.